these kind of split pushing lone druids. Like everyone's having to play a faster game, and as a result, I think some of these teams are looking sloppier. But Liquid, I think, again, iron sharpens iron, so do one team improves another one. I think these two teams are actually going to elevate their performances against each other. In fact, I feel like they always do when they match up. Liquid, as well as VP, always look best when they're against each other.
It's incredible, actually, looking at the previous 3 majors that we've had so far this season. VIRTUS.PRO beat Secret in the first one, Secret beat Liquid in the second one, and VIRTUS.PRO beat Vici in the third one. That's it. This is major number 4 of the season.
Wow.
And VIRTUS.PRO have a chance to make it 3 out of 4 this season.
Pretty
That's
impressive.
incredible, Sunsman. That's almost DC level.
No, nothing is DC level. How dare you? Nothing's that low. No, but I think VIRTUS.PRO's their biggest negative, I would say, is their overconfidence at times. And it's been something that's kind of plagued them throughout the last, I want to say, 3 years. They had really good performances at a tournament. I think this year has been their best year so far, though. They've been the most consistent. I think they've reeled themselves in. Obviously, the addition of Roger, as we've talked about, has been quite instrumental in their recent success.
Yeah.
And in some, you could kind of say in some degree, it's kind of the honeymoon phase still with Roger.
Right.
So we'll see how long they can make that last, if not the entire season.
Yeah, it's been around about 21 months that this team have been together with only 1 change in it.
Yeah.
Cap, and Liquid very similar to that respect. Is this not finally getting through to the other teams? The model of consistency is the road to success?
Yes, but I think there's still a lot of dissatisfaction when you have such a big goal, and especially a year-end goal in TI. You want to be your absolute best for that tournament, and I think no matter what, we're always going to have those roster shakeups in Dota 2. But I would agree. I think that we're getting to a point where people have been on so many teams that have played with so many different players that they're beginning to realize the grass is not actually that much greener on the other side. There's always going to be problems that you have to fix, and in order to fix those, you have to actually stick with the roster. So yes, I would agree. There is a movement towards stability.
Of course, you have to win tournaments. That's the first thing.
Well, no, I mean, that's part of the problem, isn't it? If you don't win after a few tournaments, you want to change, right? Because otherwise, what else do you do?
No, that's true. That's definitely true.
Okay, let's get into our first draft of this second semi-final and find out who has the advantage.
Oh, my. What do these teams feel about Beastmaster these days?
Beastmaster, I don't feel like both of these offlaners, we aren't actually seeing too much of it right now. I think it's maybe just a little bit too slow for either one of them, either one of the teams rather, not necessarily the players themselves. I was thinking about the DK. What led me to that was the Enchantress, that both teams actually counterpick the DK with the Enchantress offlane. We've seen that a couple times, and Liquid also counterpick it against the Terrorblade as well. So I was wondering if we were going to see at least one Enchantress game in this best of 3 between the 2 teams that pick it the most.
Interesting to see VIRTUS.PRO banning out the gyro. Considering they had the first pick if they wanted it, I guess they didn't want to pick it first.
They're trying to help us out. We're sick and tired of seeing that hero.
Yeah, well,
let's be real.
It's the hero they've played the most in the last 3 months.
VIRTUS.PRO.
There you go.
Always have that flex pick, so this Sand King is not necessarily locked down to the offlane, so VIRTUS.PRO can try and get that Enchantress if they want to try and match it against the DK when it comes to that mid game. The reason being, you've got this pure damage against a very tanky ranged hero. It's super nice to be able to have. But overall, the Sand King is just one of those great team fighters, and no surprise whatsoever that Elder Titan is the response, because I think ET is the superior when it comes to nailing the laning phase. Like, that's what ET does best. I think ET, Chen, like, those are the heroes that are sort of the definitive lane dominators right now.
Well, I'm looking at Disruptor to be picked or banned after this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, after all, in the matchup that we just saw in the other semifinal, the Disruptor is one of the kings of teamfight, and there was a reason.
Could go for an early DP as well, though, right? Because if that's not picked, it's going to get banned as well.
Yeah,
the early AA. Okay.
I was going to say most of the time the Ancient Apparition still up there in the pool inhibits the Death Prophet pickup. VP actually pick it themselves here, liking it against the higher strength heroes and the high regen of the DK. Both these heroes are going to be a bit susceptible to it. And on top of that, it's the counter pick that we were talking earlier. I think it was Secrets who were the ones who were doing this. I think I brought it up yesterday. Ancient Apparition versus the ET aggro dual lanes. That's how you beat it. You've got Chilling Touch on 3 different heroes. ET, you can run around and get as much spirit damage as you want. You can try and punch people in the face, but when they're hitting you back with, you know, plus 50 damage on every single one of these heroes, and it's slowing you as well, there's no way for you to actually win that lane anymore.
I can't believe that was buffed, by the way. Chilling Touch. Even though it's not that recent, I felt like it's always been this amazing skill, especially in the very early laning stage. And now it has that, it's kind of like a mini cold snap.
Yeah, you give it that slow, and then it's like you actually can hit all of your Chilling Touch charges once you get that first one in.
Now, do you think because they picked up AA that they might be thinking about getting a DP for themselves? So Team Liquid might have to ban that if they, of course, don't want to match up against it.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. You like the Spirit Drain against the Dragon Knight, even if the physical damage of the Exorcism isn't as effective. I think you're a little bit scared of Elder Titan, though, and what he provides in that minus armor. It makes all these heroes a lot squishier, a lot more susceptible to burst down. And we've already seen in the group stage teams trying to establish ways to deal with the Death Prophet by picking up some of these Lina picks, you know, being able to get like this direct, huge amount of burst damage to be able to take that hero out of the fight before she could get off her Yule Scepter and Spirit Drain. So just to be cautious, though, you're completely right. They are going to take out that Death Prophet.
That's another reason we've seen Eon Disc a couple times on this hero.
That's for sure.
When that item first came out, I did not think Death Prophet would be a holder of it, but it seems to be one of the most consistent.
Yeah, any of these heroes that have a really important ultimate that they need to be able to survive to either cast or let it out some more.
Don't usually see that many Veno bans, but there's an obvious Veno player on the other side here, so
always an option.
Evil Geniuses fell prey to that one.
They did, and VIRTUS.PRO do not want to be going down the same road.
And there's nothing about the DK that says you can't run Venomancer in your safe lane. You would say Venomancer, DK, that sounds like a super early game, fast-paced lineup, but that's exactly what's being run right now.
Either of these teams play Abaddon, or Abaddon, as most like to say.
I think, again, Abaddon is a nice protecting hero, but you need a reason to get that Abaddon and get that protection. After all, Evil Geniuses tried to run it against the Venomancer because of the way that the sustain offered, as well as being able to remove the Venomous Gale poison. But I think it's one of those heroes that's quite situational in the offlane. You need a really good reason to run it.
Yeah, it's not a VIRTUS.PRO hero. It has been run once in the last month or so by Team Liquid, but again, not really a Liquid hero either.
What I kind of like about the DK, and it's why I brought it up early in this matchup, is also because of the Juggernaut and the way that I think both these teams actually really like Juggernaut. Ramses and Miracle are 2 signature players on that team, and I think it fits the pace of the game really well.
Yeah, this was a pick at Katowice recently when they played OG, the Oracle.
Yeah, so one of those heroes, kind of counterintuitive when you think about it, that's really good against AA because it outlasts the what's his ultimate called?
Ice Blast?
Ice Blast, thank you. I'm a caster, by the way. But being able to just regen through that is huge, especially for a lot of these heroes, like Dragon Knight, a great example of which. But Doom's going to be picked for VP. Question is, who is the duo here with Oracle? Who do you guys like? I mean, when I think of it's Huskar, there's no way Huskar's going to pick this game, though.
I think it's not necessarily a duo focused. I think you're right on the money when you say it's a counter to the Ancient Apparition. Whether it's, you know, like as you said, for those who don't know, the interaction is if the Ice Blast wears out during the ultimate of the Oracle, then you actually get all the healing. And failing that, even if it hits a little bit after you already cast that spell, it doesn't matter because you've casted, like you've saved somebody and given them time to be able to get off all of their abilities. Right. And Ice Blast is supposed to be one of those that cuts it short, that doesn't let you have that opportunity. It gives you that quick numbers advantage.
Well, Doom, this looks like a position 3, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Most likely?
It couldn't still go either way. They can still run a 4-position Doom and an offlane Sand King.
I hope to God it's 4.
Why is that?
Because 3 is awful. This hero.
Why do you think 3-position Doom is awful?
It just feels every game I see that picked as this high priority hero. It just doesn't. I mean, Doom takes forever to cast. I feel like it's way too important of ability to put on somebody that needs a decent amount of farm, which is typically your position 3. They will be going for another Terrorblade, so Ramses special again. One of his strongest heroes, historically speaking, at least.
I will agree with you. I think Doom is better fitted to the 4 position right now. I think he gains less out of the off lane. His items aren't as important as, say, like the signature Blink Dagger on the Sand King will be for this game, because Team Liquid is going to push your towers. They're going to take your objectives. They're going to try and limit the amount of map control that you have to be able to work with this Terrorblade, because it is a hero that needs to be able to ramp up a bit. It's strong in every part of the game, and Ramsey's right about that, but it doesn't mean it's going to be stronger when at like 15, 20 minutes than some of these heroes that are being run in the meta right now, like the Gyrocopter. I think Lycan is maybe a little bit faster paced hero just because of the Necronomicon input, but DK for sure is like setting the tempo of this game.
I have a theory though that Ice Frog wants Doom to not be a 4. He wants it to be 3 and above.
Why is that?
The talent change, the bonus gold, is now 15. You're never going to get there if you're a freaking position 4. That sounds miserable, especially with the bounty changes. Every change that has been made to Dota is to nerf the position 4 Doom. Just think about it.
Let's not forget the memeest change of all, that level 25 talent. 100% cleave.
It's so good.
On a single target focused hero.
So good.
Infernal Blade as well as Doom are single target abilities, and you give him cleave.
He needs it. He needs all the help he can get. Good lord.
It's quite strange actually, looking back through some of the matches that VIRTUS.PRO have run this Doom. It's run as a hybrid. It's a 3/4 in almost every game that they play it. Usually alongside another hero that's also a 3/4. They had a Naga in the last time they played it. The time before that, that was a Brood game, so that kind of doesn't count.
Yeah, Brood games never count.
And the time before that, they actually ran an Earth Spirit, a Shadow Demon, and a Doom, and they kind of 3/4'd it as well. So it seems like they don't necessarily have a hard position money-wise.
Yeah.
This is pretty interesting. VIRTUS.PRO, we knew they had to get some sort of kind of early game team fighting type hero, something that looks to be able to burst people down, especially against the Oracle. Puck was the ban from Team Liquid. Fully agree with that. You need VP to take kind of a 4-man aggression with their lineup.
It's tiny, by the way.
Yeah.
The reason it hasn't been picked a huge amount. It's been picked 11 times so far at the Bucharest Major, and it has 2 wins.
Oh, he's better than that. He's due for a win, is what you're saying.
18% right now.
There's no way he's that bad.
He's much better than an 18% win rate, that's for sure.
That's pretty crazy, actually. I mean, he did get some significant nerfs, I want to say. The tree grab cooldown was ridiculously nerfed in terms of cooldown, I believe, in the last patch. But
I think most of the issues, Cap, have been because it's been first phase picked, isn't it? And it then can be counted. I think teams have suddenly worked out how to deal with that now.
I'm not fully convinced that this Tiny is going to have a great game. It's very difficult to be able to burst down both this DK and the Lycan, and the Oracle in the right place can counter what you want to be able to do, which is get yourself a numbers advantage here. It's kind of cool that they have both SK and...
Oh my.
Well, okay then. That just basically just messes the entire draft up.
And there's the Miracle Invoker. So we're going to have the Mind Control Dragon Knight. We've seen this a number of times, them providing the old switcheroo where they throw that Dragon Knight into the off lane and grab themselves a carry type mid for Miracle.
I mean, dude, can it get any hyper? We're at $1 million major. We're in the semi-final with 2 of the best teams in the world. And one of the greatest players of all time picks out an Invoker.
I mean,
one of his signature heroes.
We've seen this before where there's an Invoker pick and then they just utterly lose right away, right?
Don't go there,
You were the one who suggested an Invoker pickup. We were talking about between games, and it was specifically against a Terrorblade for that reason, right?
I do like, I was going to say, despite what I just said, I do like the Invoker. I mean,
we're on the same track, at least.
Saved himself,
I just don't want to see Quaswax, please.
Okay.
No Quaswax.
No, okay. Cap, prediction.
I actually can't say no to a Miracle Invoker in this game. I think it's a good matchup here, too. I think it's going to be a good Invoker game, so I'll say Liquid.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the crowd and Cap. Liquid. Invoker, really, not just Liquid, just Invoker.
So, we are ready. Are you ready out there? Are you really ready for the semi-final? Because it's about to kick off, ladies and gentlemen. It's Liquid versus VIRTUS.PRO.
What a beautiful matchup. Liquid versus VP. Winner gets into the grand final, but both teams already secured points for the international. Purge, we're here. We get to watch an Invoker, and we're going to watch an Invoker that isn't Quas. Wex.
Thank God. Did not do so well during the group stage, and I think this is the right game for Exort as well. There wasn't that much obviousness maybe that Liquid is going to go for this, but between having Dragonite as initiator, even Oracle's first skill Fortune's End, and obviously Echo Stamp, they can actually set up these Sunstrike kills, and it makes their ganking so much better, which is what's so cool about what they did with this pick, because VP's AA as well as Sand King, it was the most obvious, we're going to kill your heroes in burst fashion. So Oracle gives them that solution against that, and then the other side, they're also going to be able to do it themselves.
Yep. And I can't wait to see the combinations that come out from both these sides. High-quality teams, so high-quality Dota. Strap yourselves in. It's VIRTUS.PRO. We're already on the hunt inside the dire jungle. You'll hit with the Sunstrike, so first points of damage getting into solo. But this was just VP having a bit of a wander around, trying to force Team Liquid off the runes, but Liquid will still get the bottom, so at the end of the day, it's a scouting mission more than anything else.
Yep, no problem at all for Liquid, and their lanes should be pretty normal. The mid of the VP side is going to be a Tiny, so not very much armor on him, and he might have a little trouble here against an Invoker, but he should be able to get tons of last hits. It all just kind of comes down to HP trades and seeing who can get a kill with rotations.
Now let's actually just have a quick look through our lanes, especially as we have ourselves a small pause, so it is going to be no one's Tiny in the mid lane, going against Miracle's Invoker. That then puts Ramses on the bottom lane as the Terrorblade. He'll be battling up against what is a dual lane currently, which is Mind Control's DK and GH. We saw just how great he was with the stacking of that small side camp next to the bottom lane and then just gaining such a huge amount of damage. So watch those camps very closely. Up towards the top lane, it puts Matamaman onto the Lycan. He'll be babysat by Kuro on the Oracle. And that leaves Roger as the roaming SK, Boots and Clarity's first, Pasha off lane as the Doom. So you will actually have the 3-position Doombringer, even if he does become a hybrid. And then last but not least, Solo, the Ancient Apparition for VP.
So I think the lanes that look pretty good for Liquid, I would say both teams are fairly happy in the mid lane. I think Liquid's off lane of Dragonite plus Elder Titan is really good. There was another Elder Titan performance we saw at this tournament where Elder Titan just kind of dumpstered the Terrorblade in lane. He's got a lot of armor, but if you get enough damage, you can chase him down and out-harass him easily, especially with your passive, which will reduce a lot of his base armor. And then in the off lane, I think VP has a little bit of an advantage, maybe a moderate advantage. Having a Sand King as well as a Doom. Doom is conventionally not the strongest offlaner, but in games like this, where he's against a melee hero, it's a really nice advantage because you can do a lot of magic damage yourself using Infernal Blade, and you can just pressure Lycan like crazy before he hits 6. He's going to have a lot of regen, but the trade should almost always go in Doom's advantage.
Yeah, it's not like Oracle's going to harass him out of the lane, right?
Exactly.
This isn't a nuking style of hero unless you look for that final little dose of damage that can come from him, so...
Or Invoker.
Or Invoker.
That's the only scary part for VP playing in that lane. And where AA goes is going to be pretty interesting. He may end up starting the mid lane to give a bigger advantage against the Invoker, or he may end up just shifting all the way bottom to protect Terrorblade, which is what it seems like it's going to be. But I think this is a lane that ET is really happy about, because TB is a melee hero and AA is the ranged one, and it's going to be a lot of ET punching AA in the face.
That is not going to be a happy time for AA. That's going to be a lot of ice shattering on the bottom. Yeah, but so I still want to wait and see if Solo's going to block up that camp. So is this little side one, GH already getting heavy into Ramses, doing damage with Mind Control. The Dragon Tail stun to begin with. All Courier, Solo needs one more hit. He won't find it on the other side of the tree line. And GA is still using that plus 10 damage from his Spirit previously to bring Solo down. So Consumal's already being burnt a little bit. Keep your eyes on Miracle. He did go for Sunstrike to start with. So this heavy damage, you have to watch the side lanes. You have to keep your ears out for the Sunstrike.
With that said, no one's getting a lot of last hits at the start here. He's got 80 base damage, and he has a Quelling Blade. So him missing last hits is basically not going to happen, but he does have to be a bit worried about positioning. So this is definitely the action lane on the bot lane here between Liquid as well as VP, but there is always the threat of a kill on the top lane, as long as there is a little bit of harass, and if SK ends up approaching at the right time when somebody's a bit low, it could be a kill on somebody like Matamaman.
This is a terrific lane so far for no one. I know we're only a minute and a half in, but he's 9-5 for the CS against Miracle's 2-1. This is not the way Miracle really wants to start off this lane.
That makes sense, though. Invoker's base damage is not great. The Exort helps, but against an 80 damage Tiny, it's just not even close to the same. But once Miracle pulls away a little bit in levels, he's going to deal way more harass to no one than no one's going to be able to deal back. But then it comes down to Tiny's advantage of being able to toss back Miracle to a potential support. So if Sand King roams over, it's definitely a possible Invoker kill.
Damn, that damage. GH with a howl, pop up too. Solo cannot escape. Solo knew before he used his TP scroll to go back to the tier 1 tower once GH had a little bit of that buff. And why am I not surprised that the dual off lane of Team Liquid is so heavily influenced by this Elder Titan?
And again, the large camp isn't blocked here. It's fully spawned, it hasn't been stacked yet, and it's going to be a bit before Liquid can stack it. But even without that, they still did really well.
This is VIRTUS.PRO. Like, we saw this on the main stage yesterday. VIRTUS.PRO most definitely saw it. They have to try and counter this in some way, but how do you do it? Do you just try and have a crack up at the top? Do you play out the game? Do you allow the levels to come in? Right now they're winning on CS. All 3 of the cores for VIRTUS.PRO have gotten over the 2-digit mark already, while Liquid are only just about to claim that with Miracle, thanks to the double damage rune he found.
But it is offset by kills, and Elder Titan getting the first blood is going to change everything. It makes the game about even. So while VP can be happy that they're winning the lanes a bit here, if the kills keep continuing for Liquid side, I don't think they really care that much. They're getting slightly outlaned right now, because they can turn out kills later with good ganks. And Roger does his first rotation here. Smoke is popped. They've got 2 points in toss on Tiny, so Miracle's got to be careful, and we'll see if he can prevent this kill from happening.
Yeah, it's still going to be difficult for no one to position perfectly to get around and throw Miracle back.
The hardest part is Miracle sensing when there's danger. If no one runs forward at a weird time, he's going to read this, and he's going to realize the gank is coming. And instead, they might just have to do a toss forward on SK into an avalanche follow, but that's going to be hard on damage.
Sunstrike onto Solo, real trouble. Solo's dropping down low. One more attack from Mind Control will do it. He was in the trees, trying to block himself out. Won't work, however. But both GH and Mind Control limping away to safety.
It was a great attempt by A, trying to block, prevent Mind Control from getting the kill, but even gets to eat his planted Ironwood branch in success, so pretty good for Liquid.
Easy regeneration.
And Aqua is picked up on Invoker now, so his armor advantage is even higher on the mid lane. His damage is now pretty much around where Tiny's is, so we're going to see a lot more gap closing in terms of last hits.
I think GH may be a little bit annoyed. For some reason, his spirit went down, but it didn't aggro the Saturn Tormentor. Yep, true. Matubberman in trouble. There's your little bit of extra heal. Kuro keeps him alive. Matubberman is the poison.
That was such a sick play on Liquid side. Matubberman was in trouble for a long time there. He used the Wolves to slow down Roger's ability to get close to even land the Burrow Strike. And as soon as the Infernal Blade hit was the same time that Kuro used Fortune's End, which basically stops all the damage over time that Infernal Blade deals.
Well, he's having to do it again once more. The jumping comes from SK. Matumba needs space to get out. The Howl will give that bonus, and Roger ticking down so quickly. That's that Kuro nuke coming into play. Pasha wants to go for more, but his Scorched Earth is just worn out, so he'll start his run back. Sunstrike is off cooldown, a level 3 on that one, so let's hold him in position. The Wolves are staying with Pasha, but they won't toss it out. It wouldn't be enough for a kill. Not yet.
So still doing a great job fighting this lane. The Oracle is working so well against the Doom in the laning stage, and it's going to be just as good later.
They're going on Ramses. Really just trying to push him down solo. Gives the Chilling Touch bonus effect. The ET Spirit comes out, and Ramses will think twice about it.
It's just too hard for them to commit on killing a Dragon Knight for now.
Oh, wow.
Go for the Stomp, but it's going to be way off here.
Yep.
Pretty costly usage there for GH. He doesn't have that much mana in the early game, but they can still use a Shrine maybe.
He needs that mana too. 80 mana for every single time he wants to put that Spirit down. And start soaking up the extra damage.
And while Liquid's offlane is going so well, they're going to be safe on their safe lane and just put Matumbaman into the jungle. Because he can jungle still pretty rapidly, especially with Feral Impulse. He tanks, him and his Wolves do a bunch of damage, and he will still get some gold. In the meantime, Kuro just hides for farm. And experience, mostly.
Yeah. Able to get a very powerful Oracle, get that early false promise up.
With that said, though, I mean, Doom is going to free farm as a result, and that means if he gets a fast 6 and then turns out kills every time he gets Doom, it's going to be huge for VP, and that's one of the best things about Doom, is that he gives you a fairly reliable kill every single time that Doom is up, you know, every 2.5 minutes. Yeah.
What's the old phrase, right? You delete one hero before the fight begins because they have to deal with the Doom. ET is now jumped up to the top lane. Thanks to the Observer Ward from VIRTUS.PRO, they are fully aware that GH has done the rotation. And Kuro's got his own aggressive ward down, so he also knows that Roger is not staying around. In fact, it's SK who TP's down to bottom lane, trying to add pressure to Mind Control.
They look like such a good TP. Like, if you know that there's 3 heroes in the lane that you're sitting in, it's time for you to leave, because now you know there's not an extra hero in the bot lane, and he had just TP top. But they didn't quite initiate that perfectly. You probably should have wrapped around to get an initiation off in the DK, because they maybe could have gotten that kill. And instead, they're going to alternate this and go for the mid.
Yep, they're coming after Miracle. GH is already moving down too. The Observer Award is giving VP all that high ground vision they want to. So Spirit into Stomp, needs to create space. Able to get the double stun on both Solo as well as Roger. Miracle wants to fight. The Cold Feet will trigger on him. Roger dodging with the Sandstorm, but he won't dodge the Stun Strike from Miracle. Is able to connect. VP with the Instigators, but they're the ones burying the dead.
Very good plays by them. And on the opposite side of the map, Pasha was a smidgen away from getting Doom, but ends up using Scorched Earth a little bit earlier there, so now it's going to be even harder for him to kill Lycan if he does want to chase him down, now that they're in this 1v1 matchup. It's hard to grab this kill solo without Scorched Earth, but maybe he'll be able to. He's definitely thinking about him. Matoma Man's got to be really careful right now.
He's just holding it for now. No TP support will come. Elder Titan doesn't have one available, and Kuro already just burned his to go to the mid. So ET has to walk back up to the top.
Soul Ring's kind of an interesting Doom build here. Helps him basically cast Devour whenever he wants, and also really abuses Creep Nuke, which most of the time can't be afforded, but it's only 50 mana for some of these abilities. So with a Soul Ring, he can just do an Inferno Blade and a Thunderclap all the time just to do easy harass. It's a smart way to play the hero, makes him a lot more efficient in lane.
There's a little bit of chip damage by Ramses. I want to say onto the bottom tower when he burned his Metamorphosis, but it was purely to engage into mind control. But thanks to the 2 points up at Dragon Blood, and okay, now also Dragon Form being burned by mind control. They want to have a crack at him. Yeah, GH going to go into the Stomp. He doesn't have mana for a TP, slowed down by Caustic, but the high movement speed anyway from the ET Spirit just lets him keep running. Roger, the Observe Ward gave him a little bit of extra information if he wants to keep the chase going, but he does not have the movement speed to get there.
I'm pretty sure VP dropped that kill completely. Doom did not use Thunderclap. I'm pretty sure he had it before he got stomped, and GH ends up surviving. So at least they didn't use Doom, but either way, VP seems to have pretty dominant control of the lanes right now.
Yeah. Just try and stay on top as far as the net worth goes. Mind Control's having a good time on bottom, keeping Terrorblade as low as he can, even though Ramses does have the one charges available.
Yeah, his lane is definitely going well on Dragon Knight's side. Every time he attacks the tower, it's 100 damage. It'll add up in the end. But I think Roger's also getting a lot done here, constantly looking around and scaring and worrying Matoma Man whenever he spots him.
Heavy rotation stop. Matoma's going to trigger his shapeshift. They're going to look for the Spirit on top of Doom. Thanks to Fortune's End, they can hold him in position to get the follow-up stomp, and there is no way for Pasha just to run out this one. Who does he want to Doom, if anyone? When no one does his rotation, the Burrow Strike will miss. No one hasn't decided on the target just yet. It'll be the Avalanche into GH. Couple of stick charges and some space. Kuro giving him that regeneration, and VIRTUS.PRO, they haven't got the control they were looking for as Liquid will retreat.
That was a super big play by Kuro. He uses Fate's Edict while GH was in air. That stops the toss damage and completely nullifies VP's ability to do magic damage. Really sick play by Kuro. There's a high chance that GH goes down if that wasn't done by Kuro here. And he's basically just shutting down a lot of these rotations. And that was the mid player teleporting all the way to the top lane to try to make a kill happen. It doesn't happen. Miracle gets tower damage and just not good for VP.
They're still trying to force the top lane. The Stomp is making it difficult for Pasha and Roger. They'll pull the creep wave instead. And Matomaman's back to the jungle. He knows his two supports have that top lane locked down. Bottom lane, however, might be a little bit different. Ramses has a double damage rune and level 4 Metamorphosis just ready to go. So Mind Control will need a little bit of extra assistance to hold this bottom tier 1 tower.
At least he has Breathe Fire. It can reduce the damage that he's doing illusion-wise. It's one good thing, but he's going to play this safe here. He does catch just the illusion, though, so that means Ramsey's doing full damage, and this tower's going to take a lot of damage. Yeah,
Fortification has to be burned by Team Liquid. ET's moved over, so again, GH understands where the attack is coming. He ends up getting the Spirit damage in, so he'll say hello to Roger, plus 66 damage for GH to beat into that Sand King.
And Terrorblade loses a lot of health, but this is the danger territory here for Liquid, because that just means more Sunder potential if they catch a hero out of position. So they have to be very careful, and that's why GH moves these positions.
The Stun Strike!
That was so sick. Roger doing his best there to get close to try to split the Sunstrike damage, but I think he would have had to commit a Burrow Strike to get closer faster. And a great play there by Liquid.
They're going to go for more. With that stun out, Roger has to Burrow Strike himself away. The Cold Feet will control, Mind Control Roger. So low on life. He needs some space to regenerate up. GH, he's 9 HP. The Sunstrike will be off the mark. Spirits in 2, 1, 0. GH, he has to get it back under the tower. Chasing Roger, the Cold Feet. GH will run left. His Spirit runs right. Roger stays alive on 22 HP. Mind Control was a little bit too far away to get the extra damage. And now do we just wait the 8 seconds for Sunstrike to come back off cooldown? Nah, they're going to shrine it up. He'll be fine.
Oh, he'll go for it.
And then he'll end up being solo.
I don't know if it'll work yet. They're pinging now. Maybe he will not. They do get some tower damage. That kind of tells them that they want to Shrine. And Mind Control might die for this, but he's going to get the tower very low.
He's got 1 charges as well as the ability to TP, but when there's that many stuns around him, not enough regeneration to save you, Mind Control. So bottom tower will be denied by VIRTUS.PRO. And that's the first kill for VIRTUS.PRO. Took him over 12 minutes to claim.
And again, Miracle's slap in the mid tower. It's in deniable range once again. So maybe we won't see Liquid get any towers, but I mean, they're dead. They're just not last hits. That's good enough.
The Lycan Wolves are looking for it. Miracle will come in to help out too, but still no one denied the tower. Matumbaman and Miracle were committing for this. So 2 towers down.
They just can't gap close and get the disable off. Like all of their heroes, while Liquid can do this bursty thing with Elder Titan and Sunstrikes, and it isn't really going to be until like Blink on Dragonite that somebody that's running away on VP side is super threatened. Because it takes a lot of heroes for Liquid to do these combos. It's one negative of what they're working with here. And we still haven't seen a Doom yet out of VP either, but Pasha has been around the map, showing up at the right times to pressure the right heroes.
Miracle, he's ready to fight. Their Dire Observer Ward saw him go down. Ramses now tries to go up the hill. There's your combination from Miracle, and Ramses tries to sunder. The continuous stuns from Mind Control and Miracle go to work, while in mid lane, the initiation was onto Matumbaman. So a core for core trade-off, and VP will get damage into a tier 1 tower now.
And still not
too
Doom
much,
used.
though.
So they still have Doom ready to go at all points. I mean, kind of a cool build.
Toss, throw him back into the river. Kuro, no one with that early blink dagger is able to put it to work, and there's nothing Kuro can do to save his life. No one actually gets a double kill out of this. And VIRTUS.PRO keep the pressure up, but they're still giving split push. Mind Control is on top of that tier 1 tower.
And during this whole time, the best thing about split push is you're usually killing entire creep waves. So even if Mind Control does die for these pushes, he's getting closer and closer to Blink Dagger, which at that point is just going to make him a great ganking and teamfight hero. So it's going fine for VP. They technically have an advantage in terms of gold, but Liquid seems to be getting a little bit more out of the map, perhaps.
Yeah, your technical advantage, you're right. Like it's only ever spiked just slightly over the 1K mark. Gold-wise advantage for VIRTUS.PRO.
If Liquid had gotten those last hits on towers, they'd just certainly be in a big gold advantage right now. Maybe not big, but a gold advantage.
I'm still waiting for Doom. Bottom lane, Fire Strike is out. They found Matumbaman. He's looking to get out of this one, but with the epicenter, there's too much slow, too much damage. And Roger will get the kill onto Matumba.
Pretty easy kill right now. On the other side of the map, Ramses is sitting to push out the top lane, but Liquid's setting up for this one.
Yep.
This could definitely be a kill if they get the stomp. Okay.
They need that stomp to happen so the Sunstrike can connect. It's almost max Exort Doom. It's onto Mind Control. Ramses turning into the Metamorphosis. Kuro is there to protect him as long as he possibly can. Just give more life regeneration, but Solo and no one also arrive into the party. They'll group them together, tossing Kuro in. Mind Control and Kuro both going down to the 3-position Doombringer.
It was a good attempt at a save, but that was just way too much damage. They were taking magic, they were taking tons of Terrorblade physical that whole duration, and a great chase and definitely good use of Doom. VP's not going to slow down, they'll look for their next kill. Matumbaman's still been ultra pressured here. They know he just respawned, and look at this, they ran straight. They knew where he would be. They just have to gap close.
The Observe Ward gives them all the information they require.
There they go.
So they're waiting for everything to get brought down, or Ice Blast pop. And goodbye, Lycan. The jungle is no longer a safety zone. It's the danger zone.
It's just so sick how they did that. They didn't even defend Ramses pushing the top lane. They knew that Liquid was not going to be able to defend right now, so they instantly smoke and go where he's going to farm. And by doing so, it means that Ramses at perfect efficiency, and then they can instantly transition to the next objective. So they took this one objective win, and they turned it into a kill and a second tower. VP's now, all of a sudden, in a huge position win.
And they're looking to keep the pressure up. That Blink Dagger is not there for DK, so Liquid don't have that initiation. All they have is the Spirit Stomp for GH to stall the attack from VIRTUS.PRO. There's still no points up in natural order. It's a 3-2 currently for GH. He needs some space, he needs some levels. Very underleveled ET.
It's okay, though, because he can turn ganks around, and once enemy heroes die in his vicinity, he's going to get power leveled by the much higher level opponents. And I don't think it's a huge deal if he doesn't have his ultimate, for example. I'm more worried about maybe some natural order levels, since they are having a lot of trouble getting kills. So VP will take a small moment where they actually back up and grab some farm, but it just means they're going to grab things from the base, like this blink on Doom, which now makes his life a lot easier.
Miracle's living in a little bit of fear. Hiding in the tree line on the bottom is a 4-man smoke up from Liquid, hoping for some kind of option, but Miracle's still not showing himself. He only wants to fight under the tower. The Ice Blast, well, okay.
He's just very worried about VP diving right now.
Oh, here they come. Team Liquid, blink in, stun. They want the kill on the Terrorblade. The Sunstrike may help him to do it. In fact, it does do it. Ramses will fall. Still a 1-for-1 trade-off as that Lycan had really no say in his own death. Pasha on the back of Kuro on Mind Control. They're split up. That's the medic as well as the primary carry. Kuro can't get enough damage out, but Mind Control can blink and get the stun. Yes! Avalanche from no one. It was a pebble away from connecting.
Solo's small mistake there. Needed to attack to prevent the blink into the trees, but ultimately they tried to finish off with a toss and not long enough on the cooldown. But either way, Liquid knew the reason Miracle was sitting so back is because they knew that VP was either healing or that they were on a pressure move to the top tier 2. So they played it well, they initiated, but they just didn't quite have enough damage to clean up the rest of the fight. They pick up the Terrorblade though, and that's definitely the best and most dangerous hero to kill at the start.
Yep. And the kill went to Miracle during the fight too, so he's now top net worth on the field. Roger on the run. Will be easily successful. Team Liquid not wanting to fight when Shapeshift is down, Dragon Form is down.
Tiny looking for kills again, and they know where Matemaman likes to farm.
In inside of his own jungle, it's not like he's an anti-mage, he's more maneuverable. You're already going to start with the Flexo. Matemaman trying to get back to his tier 2 tower. Support is coming in from Team Liquid. Can Matumba survive long enough? No, he cannot. The final tree snap will break his back. Solo and Roger are starting to flank around the side too, so you can jump in, but the initiation and the combination was all on the illusion of Solo. It was the illusion ruined to Roger and Solo combined together. False promise, protecting Mind Control for the moment. Kuro needs to give him more life. Kuro, however, has nothing more to give. His life is forfeit. Mind Control does survive.
VP is playing this game impeccably. They're just pressuring multiple areas of the map at the same time. They know what the limits of their heroes are. They give up on the Dragon Knight, knowing that he's going to regen too much, and they can just eat Oracle for free. And they just own that enemy jungle. Liquid hasn't had any space to really make the things happen that they want. I haven't felt any impact from a Lycan in this game. He's been pressured, and now he just doesn't contribute to fights very well until he gets some survivability. But he can't just rush BKB and think that everything's going to be fine. It's just a tough Lycan game now.
He's still committed to the Necro books.
I feel like he has to finish it. It's definitely one of the best ways the hero can become useful, because if he goes BKB, then that contributes or makes him only good at team fighting.
Blink up, initiation, as the Ice Blast is coming in. It's real problems for Liquid. They get hit by this so hard. Kuro able to deny Miracle. Oh, Miracle gets a revenge. Mind Control can't go anywhere. Locked inside the cold feet. Roger hiding inside the sandstorm, but they had the dust out, so at least they were able to wrap him up. Underneath the tier 3 towers is where Liquid are currently dying. No one in Pasha, just unstoppable.
They're playing so well. I mean, the only thing that went well for Liquid in that fight was that Kuro was able to kill his ally so that he couldn't give golden experience to the enemy team, which was a good grab because Invoker was certainly going to die there. But it's only at a loss of their 2 supports on VP side, and their cores continue farming in this time period, collecting items that are going to be hard for Liquid to fight against in the late game.
I've had no one still hunting Matemaman. He's got one job currently. Ensure the Lycan never gets big, so let's see that fight once more. And no one, easy combination, just walking up the hill just to crack Miracle. And Kuro, yep, denies him, then gets doomed himself, so no more influence from the Oracle.
He was doomed, right? Did Invoker get doomed? No, he didn't.
No, no.
I actually am very confused how he was able to deny him. What am I missing? I'm missing something.
He had Ice Blast, would have been infected by Caustic.
I mean, but the only thing you should be able to deny is Doom. That's why I'm confused, right?
Infernal?
That should not be deniable. I'm not sure. I really don't know. I'll look at the Reddit thread later, I guess. I'm confused.
Someone will explain it. But for now, Team Liquid are just in recovery mode. That gold graph has really started to spike up. Now almost 10,000 net worth advantage for VIRTUS.PRO, 8,000 for the experience. It's just going to start to increase as Team Liquid, with every single engagement that happens, prove that they're just not able to. So let's see this in slow motion.
All right, Burrow Strike, Ice Blast, looking for debuffs. He was dusted, and he got Purifying Flamed. I saw that part, and then he just denied him. I feel like he shouldn't be able to. I still don't know.
Isn't it an ability from Oracle that can do that?
I don't think so, but I might be wrong.
All right.
I'm not sure.
Anyway.
We'll find out later.
Yep. Let's focus on the hero now. So Team Liquid, they 5-man group up, ready to fight up on top lane. They don't have these BKBs available yet, just the level 2 Necro books, and they're hoping that VP will oblige them. You were mentioning previously that VIRTUS.PRO won big core kill in favor of Team Liquid can just start to turn this around for all the supports. But that tier 2 tower goes down, and VIRTUS.PRO, they are pushing rapidly into the mid lane, and Team Liquid need to come back. You have TP on the like, and they're trying to get the best trade-off possible. Miracle can slow the push, so the tier 1 tower on top does go the way of Liquid. Miracle getting the last hit on that.
I think I figured it out. Maybe not. I'm not sure.
You're looking back through the combat log. It's going to pester you.
I think it was that Kuro attacked him, which put him within Ice Blast threshold range before the Ice Blast tick caused the kill. So because Kuro was the one to put him below that threshold, he ended up dying, but the source was Oracle. That's why when you attack somebody into threshold range on AA and it gets him low enough, you get the kill and not AA, even though technically it was the threshold, you know? It was something like that, but I'm not sure how he's able to attack him, because you should only be able to do that when he's doomed or something. I'm not sure. But I think it was Ice Blast related, pretty sure. Mystery may be solved.
Maybe solved. Relax, Patch. We'll just focus on the new stuff coming up. I'll give you another thing to debunk. Level 3 Necrobook is now done over on Matubberman, so they'll get a little bit more detection. Difficult when you've got a Shadow Blade from no one already there. Here comes your Ice Blast. The Avalanche will connect Matumba. Broken free with a False Promise. Sunstrike position's really good, so Solo will fall. They're tossing back Mind Control, but Matubberman on the front lines trying to battle against no one. Rogers prepping up the epicenter. He'll jump in, goes over towards Kuro. Dust is there for the reveal, so no way to hide inside the Sandstorm. Roger is falling down too. A double kill for Miracle. They're feeding the beast, and I don't mean the dragon. I mean Miracle.
They really needed that after the last couple of fights, and a great initiation with Dragonite finally pays off. And the hero that they found was Ancient Apparition. That's the guy that they want to kill. It's by far the squishiest, and that's where Liquid needs to start to win the fights. Unless they can kill something like Tiny or Doom or wait until VP spread out, that's probably the best fight they can look for at the moment.
Matumba's able to get rid of that Observer Ward that Kuro was looking for with the Sentry. So vision gets a little bit more restrictive for VIRTUS.PRO, but they've got one that's very, very deep. It's inside the Dire base on the top. So it's watching the Courier coming out with the smoke. Don't know if they actually want to get any kind of information from this at all. But they're going for Roshan. Okay, VIRTUS.PRO.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? I feel like they've been dominating this game for like 15 minutes. Normally when you're winning, what you do is take Roche, but their heroes aren't great at it is the reason that they probably haven't yet. And to even take it, it might take them committing Metamorphosis, which
and the ET Spirit is going to come and have a look. So yeah, okay, they know.
This is hard to do, right? Because the ET Spirit can scout it out. You have to commit Metamorphosis, which then makes the next couple of fights a little bit weird. But I think it's definitely time for them to go for this.
Well, it looks like Liquid are not going to do anything about contesting it. Miracle's pushing the bottom lane with Forge Spirits. The Stomp is just slowing things down. The Wolves hoping for a deny, but it won't happen. Sunstrike, the timing.
It's pretty close.
Oh, it was close, but not close enough.
Not a bad attempt, but that puts TB very close to his own BKB, and he's definitely been the core that's been focused in all of these early engagements, and that's not going to be possible anymore unless he gets chain stunned into Sunstrike. But if he is ready for the fight, he's going to pop the BKB early, he's going to walk in, and he's going to get a full damage contribution.
Team Liquid are on the way. The Ice Blast flying to the bottom lane to do a little bit of scouting. It won't find anybody. So VIRTUS.PRO know no one's hunting on the bottom lane, and they don't see anyone inside the base of Team Liquid. So they're on full retreat. And the Observe Ward will give nice high ground vision for Liquid, but no one is close by. So right now, Liquid, if they're going to get something out of this, it's that bottom tower. Maybe it'll help when Pasha TP's in like this.
They don't know, though, necessarily.
But there's no Metamorphosis. This is the issue now for VIRTUS.PRO. They don't have that high damage. Secondary TP's coming. Blink, Doom, Miracle is the primary target. Kuro going to start giving him the life. They need to keep him alive for the moment. But Toss throwing Ramses in deep into the fight. And the Ice Blast is going to help out hugely. Connecting onto Miracle. Ice Blast and Doom. Goodbye, Invoker. Pasha will lose his life for this, however. So it's a 1-for-1 trade-off. That's a big streak to end for Matubberman as Ramses getting tossed up near Matubberman. He needs that extra damage, and Matubberman can just get back out again. No avalanche, no stun, no control.
The snack was just too tempting for Doom there. He gets the 200 gold, but he kills himself in the process. But ultimately,
that's what happened.
That is what happened. Ultimately, very good for VP, grabbing the kill. His initiation was missed slightly, but now they're going to catch Oracle as well, and that's 2 dead heroes, and it's time to go high ground here.
Yep. GH has to delay this 27 seconds. The fortification is not available for Team Liquid, and the stuns Mind Control. Terrorblade put to sleep for the moment. They lost their Courier as well in the middle of all of that.
Someone on Liquid misclicking it, apparently, or angry. Could be feeding, you never know.
They do not want to burn this buyback on the Invoker. They need more time Ramses, they can't work out if they can kill off the range and the melee, so no one's attacking the melee. Ramses attacking the range racks. They both avoid the stomp. Hence paddling on either side, but Invoker is up. Ramses is low. You know he would love a Sunder. The Sunstrike in the backline solo. Almost walked back into it.
The way they're
and where's the jump?
So
no one. He goes in deep. EMP Tornado with the Ice Path and the Stomp. It actually catches two of them. Here comes your Ice Blast. Miracle to get caught with this one. Mataman lucky to be not, but then again the mirror. It's just the images coming out from Terrorblade. They're their own worst enemy team, Liquid. No one. He may even get out of this one with the Infernal Blade stopping the DK. No one is living in the tree lines. Mind Control can't reach him. Liquid were battling inside the base and Mind Control is stranded outside of it. Breathe Fire can't even reach no one. VP's positioning. It's the perfect split.
The only thing that goes bad is AA being tossed in, but VP is just outmaneuvering Liquid at this point. They have better diving heroes. They've got survivability. They've got Aegis. The way that Ramses was even pressuring the racks was extremely safe. And Liquid also trying to think one step ahead of them, but VP just has the advantage here, and they're playing slightly better.
This is beyond problematic for Team Liquid. VIRTUS.PRO claim the entire mid racks. They will back out. Things were looking a little bit okay for Liquid, even with that bottom fight. The trade-offs for the streak that was taken away from the Doombringer. The money was good for Liquid, but they just couldn't hold after Oracle got picked, and they couldn't delay long enough for Miracle to be in fighting shape.
On the bright side, there is going to be a lull here, so that's going to allow Liquid to finally move across the map a bit. And Miracle does have enough levels now where he feels comfortable using Wex spells as well. And it helped a little bit in the fights, but they're still having some lockdown problems, and VP still team fighting very smart. They're always going for the back line, hitting up Oracle as he comes forward to try to defend an ally. Always looking for those opportunities, and their heroes are just scaling so well with their items. Tiny Shadowblade into AC, now he's going to buy a BKB. That thing's going to last for a very long duration, for a long period of time in this game. And when you're up against an Invoker, that's the exact item you need to try to prevent Miracle from being able to solo carry the game.
It's going to seem like an eternity for Team Liquid in those engagements. How do you control? I'm still not feeling the power from Lycan. With the plate mail, at least he's got some armor to work with, but he's still so under-leveled.
Yeah, that's actually a big issue. It's just, how does he damage somebody like Doom who has a plate mail already? And all these guys have BKBs, so it's not even like he gets to stand there and auto-attack. He has to fear these AoEs that come through, like Burrow Strike and Ice Blast, because if he knows he gets caught by those, it's going to severely limit his ability to dive, and he has to worry about getting killed just with a stun or two.
Yep.
It's a tough fight for him, so he needs to be able to stay alive, be around for some of these hero kills, then he could catapult ahead in levels.
Yep.
Or really, Liquid would probably be happy with any deaths that they can get on the enemy team.
No, they would have been ecstatic just getting the kill on Pasha.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is beyond hard. They need to get a better vision advantage. They need that initiation stun to work for Liquid to get back into this. And in the meantime, VIRTUS.PRO just has to keep the status quo, continuously farming very effectively, especially when you have, like, Doombringer's already so far in front. And like, he's catching up to the Invoker at this point to claim the top 3 positions. Deval's always going to help with this.
That's a free Midas, right? Doesn't actually have to buy his own. So
yep.
His team's winning. He's doing really well, 6-1-7 here.
Liquid are preparing again on bottom lane. They're hoping for a good engagement, so Lycan just keeps the pressure up. Miracle can give some Forge Spirits. I'm not certain if they can really force this engagement.
They're in slightly better positioning than they were before, though, because Dragon Knight finally finished his BKB, so at the least he doesn't have to worry about being in danger. He can just try to maximize his damage. Not that there's a lot of it right now. He's even going the health perk over the damage, but
But the top lane's also pushing in.
And they have to do moves like this. Yeah, they're going to get Ice Blasted, and sometimes VP will just avoid the kills, but Liquid does have to make these maneuvers outside of their base. Otherwise, there's no way they'll catch up, because VP will just be able to split up a little bit. They have the better individual gankers and the better 2-hero gankers, whereas Liquid can't get caught by themselves or separately, because there's just going to be a second Rax, and at that point, the chances of winning the game are going to be so much lower.
Yeah, because their counter push is terrible compared to VIRTUS.PRO's. Like, VIRTUS.PRO can just start cleaving through waves. Even SK by himself is a great split pusher.
And they just have better catch, too. A lot more Blink Daggers. More Shadow Blades, 3 blinks on VP side. Liquid has some, but if their heroes get caught, they're almost for sure dead. Yep. Lycan included, really.
And they're going to start to get kited. That Skadi is rapidly approaching for Ramses.
That'll be pretty nice.
It's going to be difficult for anyone to keep up in the fights. But VIRTUS.PRO being very patient about it all. They still have a tier 2 tower in the bottom lane to bring down. They're using the Ice Blast to keep the split push under control.
As a whole, though, the Scotty won't do that much against Liquid's heroes. I mean, if Lycan's in ulti form, he doesn't really care that much. I mean, maybe Dragonite is definitely countered by it once he pops BKB, but it's probably just a safe survivability, tankiness item, the standard Terrorblade transition, and he wants HP more than something like Raw Butterfly. So nothing that weird about his build, and it's not necessarily going to super counter his opponents, but it's definitely the right item to pick up here.
I like how the couriers say hi to get that. So the Shiva's guard flies up to the Radiant secret shop.
Yep, definitely a lot safer, and that's Matumba Man's.
Yep.
Kind of an interesting item choice here, but it will give some slow against the enemy team, and reduce their attack speed is very useful this game, especially against TB Illusions.
And he really needed something. But buyback-wise, it's not a happy place for him. No one apart from the ET has buyback on Team Liquid. So as the push comes high ground, not seeing VP force it, they can just go for the easier target, which will be the Shrine, making sure Liquid cannot TP in behind them. Was opened up after they took out that mid lane of Rax.
But they've got a gem as well at this point with their advantage, so any wards that Liquid wants are probably not going to be around. Now, they do have wolves at least. They can scout with those, and that's what they've been doing very heavily.
They're coming to fight
but
quickly.
They can also just eat the wolves. So
where's your first target? Miracle. Ramses, the smoke breaks. They know someone's in the trees. GH, wait for the spirit. Necrobook's being burned as well. They're worried about Invis. Roger's nearby. Mind Control needs a good jump stun, and now he's found it. It's no one's tiny, but the BKB comes up, and here comes Pasha as well. Ice Blast, no! Miracle's in huge walls, a problem. Kuro can't save him anymore. The ET splitter will buy some level of space for Team Liquid, but Miracle, he'll pop in just a second, and that second is now. Mind Control can't retreat either. They're right behind him, slowed down by the Skadi. The ET Stomp creates a little bit of space. Blink Dagger now off cooldown, down the river.
No way, is it follow him? Okay. I don't know if that was going to keep going all the way, but basically what won that team fight was status resistance on Tiny. He was initiated on. He should have been bursted in that moment, but all of a sudden he gets to pop BKB far earlier than a normal hero. And that's because any stuns that hit him only last for like 50% of the duration. So Tiny ends up getting his BKB off, and all of a sudden Liquid's initiation turns around the opposite way. Even with Invoker getting doomed, at least if they kill Tiny, the fight would have been winnable in some ways.
Yep. It's like the perfect situation for Team Liquid, apart from the fact that it was Tiny. Take any other hero into that position.
Or they would have had to have some kind of disable follow-up or knowledge that he was going to be there. That way they could all do as much damage as possible in like the first second or so before his BKB gets popped. But it's a hard position to chain stun that guy, and because he buys the BKB late, even doing physical damage through that feels impossible.
VIRTUS.PRO are on the hunt once more. Team Liquid have been burning a lot of smokes, but you know what VP are looking for? It's Matumba Man, and he's walking directly into them. No one, avalanche toss, ice blast, boom.
Dude.
Goodbye, Lycan.
They're playing so safe. They were smoked. They walked past bounty runes without picking them up because they did not want to let Liquid see the bounties disappearing. Like, they know kills are all that matters here. They don't want to gamble on anything with this huge advantage.
Well, this is how they get their opportunity, just to take that high ground, take the game, and potentially be one match away from eliminating Team Liquid.
I mean, Doom does provide the solutions. Invoker and Miracle especially has in many cases carried his team from a position like this with just amazing use of spell abilities. But Ags is pretty countered if you get doomed and you can't cast a spell for a whole 16 seconds. And that's what makes this tough. Every team that fights, or every time that they end up fighting and Doom goes on Invoker, Oracle can save him potentially if their fight goes about even. But he's been having trouble doing that and also staying alive.
It'd be so hard as well to get away from Pasha. He stole the Purge creep. So he's got Blink Purge with the Shivas, with the Infernal Blade, with the Doom. He's just a disable central.
And the cooldown's so low, and he's got so much mana, this is fine. He could just basically permanently chase whoever he dooms and go for the kill. And now, I feel like if Liquid had won the laning stage a little bit more, and then they were doing stuff like sieging towards VP side, then Oracle would look like an amazing hero right now. But he doesn't have any items to defend himself other than Wand. So it's like every fight starts, he's not feeling as much impact as we've seen in the other games when Oracle has been played by Kuro. Very hard game for Liquid when they're trying to catch up here.
Yeah, but they're getting as much space as they can, forcing out the top lane, but they're committing a lot just to get Miracle more money.
I mean, that's basically what they need. They've got Lincoln Sphere. BKB afterwards would certainly solve some issues, especially because if he BKBs, then the only way to break Lincoln's, most likely, he would have to get an ensnare creep on Doom, or I think that's about it. Only thing that'll go through BKB. Abyssal Blade.
Butterfly is done for Ramses. You got a Crystallis into the Tiny. So damage increase for no one. He wants the full Daedalus. He's going to hit hard, especially if they can give him extra life. 10 seconds till Roshan will spawn up. VIRTUS.PRO just have to be patient. As the line gets drawn, not quite certain if that was actually drawn by no one. Cutting the line down the mid lane. So Roshan's up, and VP should be able to take this quite comfortably. Aegis and Cheese, only the second Roshan.
Oh, the gem that Liquid has, they actually stole it from Roger when he died in the last fight. They must have snuck that one out of there. It's something to work for at least. Now they feel like they have better control over the area near them. And with Elder Titan, they can definitely scout all the weird spots very easily with no resources. So they scout that Roche is being done, but will they? They're kind of shifting over, but I think they're going to be too late.
It's way too late. The only place they can fight from is inside the base when they got buybacks. And got buybacks on DKAA as well as the ET.
And the turtling continues.
And Doom.
Cheese is going to sit on the Tiny in case he wants to use it. And TB's ability to just respawn, I mean, even getting killed in the first place looks hard. 2,600 HP on Terrorblade with the 9-second
Miracle.
Okay.
Yeah, she just jumped on the back, putting out the Cataclysm. He wants to kill quickly onto Solo, remove that negative regeneration. Then onto the Sand King. It's just the stuns, but there's so much damage from behind. Miracle just gets destroyed. DK is now doomed up too, and Liquid is split into multiple parts. No way for Kuro. Well, he'll try his TP, but that will not be successful. And he knows there's not enough regeneration to stop him from popping.
They're still on the back line, though. Dragon Knight's Doom has just ran out. Maybe they can go back in and find a kill?
Maybe,
no,
but you don't have the Invoker, and no one's actually looking towards mind control.
He needs to blink. Oh, he gets hit. This is really bad now.
Turns for a Dragon Tail stun. He'll be able to blink. He can TP as well if he'd like to, but it's inside the base. Ramses has burned the Metamorphosis, beating into that melee Rax. GH is there to help out. Meanwhile, Mataman caught outside the base. Whoops indeed, and GG is called out from Liquid. They were trying so many things, but none of it working. VIRTUS.PRO, clean and surgical in their attack, take game one.
The lane win against the Lycan just proved very, very beneficial to them. VP as a whole just was able to get more farm and transition into these really strong ganks, and Liquid never really got a strong fight. And I think a lot of that was on the back of the Doombringer. I think a lot of players on VP's side played well. Probably all of them, but man, they really limited the amount of deaths that they had. Solo died like once or twice in his lane, but it was never catastrophic.
Yeah, it was just a great performance, really, from VIRTUS.PRO. The positioning in the fights is, for me, one of the big highlights. Like that mid push where you could see the ET trying to get it, and they're just perfectly positioned on the side. Then they jump in. Okay, now we know how to deal with this. None of the AoE effects that were there from Team Liquid ever really seemed to be able to connect. It was just great pushing, great all-round play, and Team Liquid, one game down. It's VIRTUS.PRO, 1 game up. We'll see if the series can be leveled. Paul, is it possible?
Anything's possible, Toby, you know that. But before we get into the ideas of whether we can see a best-of-3 go all the way, why don't we get the thoughts of our panel members once more back with Sunsfan and Cap. Cap, we'll start with you. What do you make of that?
Things that are impossible. Are predictions being correct, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I think that VIRTUS.PRO actually played this really well. I was watching back through the replay here, Dota TV, and just like kind of scrolling through this, and I counted 5 smokes, I think, from Team Liquid. Not a single one of them worked. Yeah. It was actually incredible the way that VIRTUS.PRO, once they took control of the game, and I actually thought that maybe these tanky heroes were going to be like a little bit too hard for Tiny to be able to bite through, but they played so well with the Ancient Apparition. He starts taking control of the game with his Blink Dagger, with the Ice Blast. They start cutting down some of these heroes, and then as soon as they've got some control, it was so hard for Liquid to ever be able to push out because the combination of aggressive wards, super good vision from VP, as well as the Terrorblade pushing, and just generally just like really good reads by VP. They kind of always knew when Liquid wanted to be able to push out and go for some of these kills. They kind of always knew where where Liquid was.
Yeah, they played pretty flawlessly this game. Once no one picked up Blink Dagger, started assassinating heroes left, right, and center, and then he ended up getting Shadowblade and just did even more of that with the AA's help. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think the Liquid lineup I still like a lot. Like on paper makes a lot of sense, right? You have, first of all, I want to see DK as offlane more often. I like that a lot because he ends up getting the same amount of items typically as the mid anyway, at least eventually in the game. But he's very tanky. He has this kind of like with the talent changes, he doesn't really attack as fast, obviously, but he's going to be getting this other talent, which Breathe Fire is going to be more of a mitigator of damage, which in this game in particular I think is really good against Terrorblade and Tiny. But at the end of the day, again, VP just They just steamrolled him with that burst damage.
Is that a bit of a worry, Shannon, in the fact that they have had a good draft? It did look complementary, did look like a liquid draft as well, and it hasn't worked in it. Because if that's what they were going to do and it hasn't worked, that's a worry for game 2, isn't it?
Yeah, no, there's definitely a good point there. I think Cap kind of hit the nail on the head before the series even started. The VP has been definitely better showing so far this tournament. I mean, they did lose one game, but I think we can all agree that was mostly overconfidence more than anything else. Liquid, on the other hand, they've definitely dropped some games that have not looked as flawless as they maybe have in recent memory.
Yeah, and let's say this, like, if the lineup looks good for Liquid, the lineup looks really good for VP, right? It's just like you have this 4-man crew that's going to run around, get kills. You've got a Ramsey's Terrorblade. You're never going to say no to that. After all, it's one of the better carries of this current meta anyway. So I think that this game was also going to be super comfortable for VP. I think it was just a question of who was going to take control of the game, because there are certain heroes, like, I don't think you want to be able to play like super reactively on the some of these support setups. I think you wanted to be able to, if you were Liquid, try and take over this game with you know, like your Lycan pushes. You want to be able to have this frontline DK doing so much, but instead it was no one's Tiny who took over the game. And as a result, just everything that happens positioning wise, the combination of aggressive vision, really good scans, and then also the Tiny kind of always being in the way, that Liquid having to go through this Tiny was so much of a problem. Later on, he got BKB, but before then, you're talking about like trying to throw a Dragon Tail stun onto a Tiny. He's going to take that off real quickly thanks to the status resistance. He doesn't need that saving hero in the Oracle. So once VP are the ones who take over the game, like they kind of control a lot of the map. They're the ones taking the tempo. I mean, just look at the way the Lycan played. Matumba Man had 2 modes in this game, where he was either the one being initiated on and blown up immediately thanks to the Tiny combination and then Ice Blast to really be able to finish off that hero, or he was not the one being initiated on. He would get off his ultimate, but then the rest of VP would kind of ignore him. Whatever he was chasing, say it's a Sand King would just run away from the team fight. Matumba has to put himself, you know, chasing that hero the entire way, and they just focus on going for this backline. They focus on getting the Doom on top of the Oracle or the Invoker. They focus on being able to get constant Infernal Blades to be able to threaten a lot of these heroes, and this Dragon Knight unfortunately didn't really, as I kind of agree with you, I think offlane looks good for him, but the damage output of him, once the Lycan is away and Mind Control is the one who has to do a lot of that damage because his Invoker just isn't having that impact yet, it just looked a bit lackluster. They just kind of ran through a lot of that back line of Liquid.
I also thought that his Doom was quite impressive. I mean, a lot of it's because of the vision, like you're talking about, Tiny jumps with a lot of burst damage, but if you look on paper, I'd say Doom is not great against Lycan DK, because a lot of times they're going to get their ultimates off beforehand, but if you're able to jump in and have enough vision to be able to get that off, then yeah, it's literally the most powerful single target spell in the entire game. Yeah, and it's literally just broken, right?
Tough game as well for Liquid, wasn't it? I mean, it felt a bit like they were treading water in this game. They just couldn't really do anything. I mean, couldn't start anything. They were always on the back foot.
Yeah, I mean, they got off to a pretty good start. They had a lot of Sunstrike kills early on, but it just wasn't enough, especially once Tiny got mobility.
You want to see him more, though, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I want to see Invoker again, dude. I want to see that again. Hell yeah.
Absolutely. I'm sure we will after that one. Let's take a look at the scoreboard right now and show you how things worked out in game number 1. If you are just joining us, don't worry too much, because there is at least one more game, maybe 2, depending on what Team Liquid have to say about it. But this particular game, no one 11-0-6 for him on the Tiny for VIRTUS.PRO as the standout in terms of statistics. Cap, is that helping you decide the MVP?
Yeah, I'll go for no one here, though. I do agree that Pasha had a fantastic game. I really love the combination. I didn't see this right in the draft, the percentage-based damage, right? Ancient Apparition, Ice Blast, then you've got the Infernal Blade coming in. It actually cut these tanky heroes in both the Lycan and the DK down to size real quick. So.
Yep. Agreed.
No one, baby.
Yeah. No one. I mean, you could usually say that literally, right? Nobody's the MVP for VP a lot of times, because it's very even overall.
It's funny you should say that, Shannon, because no one's ever made that joke before.
You did it again.
What?
Exactly.
No one has a clue what we're talking about right now.
Oh, I'm sure they do. This has been recycled and
it's going on. Yeah.
I'm staying away from that side of the table.
No. Join in. Have some fun, Cap. Let your hair down. Well, you haven't got much hair left, but let your hair down and enjoy yourself here. We're amongst friends, Romanians.
Listen, Paul, at least I have little hair by choice.
Oh, damn. All right. Well, that just ended this panel.
I kind of asked for that one, didn't I? It's fine. I can cope with it. My heart's broken. I think I love it. We're going to head to a break right now, but don't go too far away, ladies and gents, because we are not too far away from deciding who reaches the grand final to play Vici J Thunder. Virtus.Pro stand just one game away, but Team Liquid, they'll be looking for a fight back in game number 2, which is coming up next.
Motivation. How do you find it in a game like Dota that can break you down? Now you can hear the motivational words from the TI7 champs to get you through your games.
We're cursed. We can't win a major.
Cleanse your soul. Presenting the Team Liquid Motivational CD, featuring real quotes from Team Liquid. Quotes like,
A white cat. Don't give a shit.
Give me the XP. Give me the kill. Give me the rampage. I'm dead.
Hey guys, let's shave our heads.
Be free, Willie. Never give up. Always follow your dreams.
There's no justice in this world. You have to work for it. If it feels good, it's good.
Ready? I'm not even a player. Why do I have to do this?
No chains can hold me. Neither can they hold you.
If life gives you melons, you probably have dyslexia.
in stores now.
You can do it! Oops.
Actual game-winning advice sold separately.
Ready. Steady. Game on.
Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Bucharest Major. We are in semi-final number 2. Just one more match to go. That's the grand final tomorrow. And still one question remains. Who plays Vici J Thunder, who made their way through past Newbie earlier today? Is it going to be VIRTUS.PRO in 2, or can Team Liquid find some fight and come back into this second semi-final? They're going to need some inspiration from their many top-quality players. Let's find out whether we can get some inspirational stuff from our panel members. Did you learn anything from Team Liquid in that motivational DVD?
I learned that players are more willing to do content these days. Go back 2 years, none of those players would have done that, guaranteed.
You know what it is?
Kudos to them.
It's the Slacks effect.
It is the Slacks
right?
effect.
Yeah. Once you as a player or just a person in general, you see successful content, you think to yourself, that'd be kind of fun. I want to be able to do that. But when Slacks, it's the people who were willing to take the jump the first time Slacks comes around. Where he's like, hey guys, you want to do my little skit? And everybody's like, oh God, that sounds so cringy. That sounds like the worst thing you could possibly do. And it actually ends up being hilarious. But
and cringy.
It's all, yeah, and cringy. But it's the players who took that first step when Slacks first came on the scene. So.
Those first explorers, we salute them.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I thought when you said it was the Slacks effect, I thought you meant like, he has this overpowering way of, overpowering them to do whatever he wants to do.
That
could be that too.
Is also true.
I feel like it's almost the opposite. The players have control over him. He just doesn't realize it. Just think about
next
it for a
level.
bit.
That
It is
That's
kind of next
totally
level.
next level.
I know.
Liquid have got a lot of work to do in this game. A lot of work. Can you see them coming back into this? Because as you rightly pointed out before we started this series, they haven't been playing at the level Liquid play. They're still good, they're still great players, but just haven't been playing at quite that top level that we've seen in the past.
I mean, of course it's possible. We just talked about anything's possible, You can replace a member of your team and immediately win a major, and then perhaps going for a back-to-back for VIRTUS.PRO. We'll see, but yeah, you're right. They do have their work cut out for them, and I think a lot of it will start with the draft, obviously, as it always does with Dota. But again, I don't even think the draft is necessarily the issue. I mean, Invoker just, as much as I want it to be good, it just has not been good recently. Or by recently, I mean the last 6 months.
I thought you were going to say the last 6 years. So it's like, whoa, hold on a minute.
Only.
It was good 4 years ago.
But that's the thing about Invoker, though. Like, it doesn't matter how bad. He's always a very entertaining hero to watch, right?
Yeah, a bit like Storm.
It's almost every single one of those later game carries that aren't regularly picked up. I think the OD is really the only hero that I'm kind of acceptable of right now. That is like kind of regularly picked up as more of a late game hero. Terrorblade is another one. And again, it's because they're impactful early.
Sneak through the little
Matumba's like,
bands,
if we're going to lose this game, I'm going to do the most damage. I don't care. I want those stats,
I'm going to be the most obnoxious.
I want those
hero
fantasy points. Very important.
They've got both of they've got the percentage-based damage and that really obnoxious damage over time.
That's true.
So
that
this
is the old.
This is one hell of an
that
opening.
is the old combo.
Yeah.
That is disgusting, actually. Yeah, that is super. You just need Zeus just to finish them off, just in case they don't die to the poison. Right?
True, true. When you're hit by this combination and like you might even kill somebody, but you're walking away from that fight and you're watching your HP tick down. You're like, no, please no. And you're trying to do the math in your head. What's 11% of my HP? Oh God, I'm getting closer. Am I gonna die? And inevitably you do, because this combination is just far too strong. VIRTUS.PRO, though, I think this is going to be one of those games where you just need to run through heroes. You need to make sure that when you jump on the Venomancer, he absolutely dies. You don't allow the Ancient Apparition to be able to set up on you and get those good ice blasts. So I want to see some good old-fashioned VP aggression, run and shoot.
It's good old-fashioned CIS aggression. They're going to go with the Sanking and the Disruptor again. Not uncommon.
Are we going to see Tiny again? Oh, he got banned,
He got banned, yeah. That was
Early
the change
ban.
up from VIRTUS.PRO this time. That's what let the Venom through.
Neither team picked up Naga Siren.
That's true. Naga's there.
Does it get banned in this second phase?
Well, you would imagine, but you never know.
Nor Death Prophet, though hard to fit in for VP's second pick after the Ancient Apparition is already there.
Now, I don't know if they actually run this that often with this combination, but I'm just thinking, like when I see AA Venom, I think, how can this be any worse in terms of playing against these heroes, right? I think Tinker being added to that would...
With his rocket spam
I'm just trying to think of like what tilts the enemy the most, right? Tinker's got to be towards the top of the list.
You're hit by all of that, and the Spectre comes in to finish up all those heroes.
Of course,
She jumps to one, wacha, he's dead. Jump to the other one.
Tell you what they do run alongside sometimes is the Inch.
Enchantress is one of the most tilting heroes to play against, actually, especially in a 1v1. You just don't win. Everybody loses.
And we were talking about how the matchup against DK, but last time we already had kind of our offlaners. It's still open. Both the offlane positions are still kind of there because VP can run that Sand King in either the 3 or 4 position. But DK will be banned down this time around. Maybe it'll be picked versus the Terrorblade. Liquid have done that before. If VP get their hands on it. And apparently Liquid are going to leave it out there in the pool.
Well, I'm looking for a Juggernaut this game. I'm having a little feeling on the old Jug.
You know, funny you say that. I was with you on that. I actually think VP Juggernaut would not be so bad. The Healing Word effect against Ice Blast, okay, you're not going to be able to have fun with that. But I like the direct single target damage that you'd be able to employ that's kind of uninterruptible. You know, just get on top of that Venomancer and, you know, tear him apart with the Omni Slash.
You know how good it feels to get Galed and then spin, and it actually works as a Dispel now against?
Oh, and look at that. VIRTUS.PRO actually
so
are the ones who banned Juggernaut away from Team Liquid.
Okay. I don't want to say this too loudly.
Uh-huh.
Yes. But Whisper. There is a particularly horrible hero that Liquid like to run with the Veno just to make it even more obnoxious. Who's had spiders? Is it Brother?
Oh, against Sand King, I don't know.
I knew the moment you were talking obnoxious here, I was like, oh, Broodmother. Yes.
Like, let's say, for instance, they pick Brood here, right? Let's just say. You have a Sand King already. That should be enough, right? In lane against the Brood? Or is that not as potent anymore since they've upgraded the spiders? I actually have not seen that matchup yet.
Against one hero? Brood.
So against Sand King, because again, like you pick a Brood in the old days, you pick a Sand King, you pick a Tide, something to that effect, and it just kind of nullifies the hero to a large degree. But I don't know about these days.
I think it's better for, like, because of the mid matchup, it's better for heroes like where we saw the Omni Knight, who has a big nuke that definitely kills the spiders in part because of that big pure. Naga Siren, so we're going to see the VP Pasha Naga Siren. I was a big fan of it last time around. I thought it was really smart, especially against the Lifestealer. It was a counter pick to the Lifestealer last time around. Here, I think it's just, in general, a kind of both a setup and a slowdown to the game, where if you do get hit by the Ice Blast, you can try and stop some of that follow-up damage with this song.
They have amazing team fight right now. You set up the song, you get the easy kinetic field, static storm, epicenter, burrow strike, literally every. I'm just naming all their skills because it all works together at this point.
It's just a fusion.
Plus Meteor Hammer, of course.
And Earth Spirit and Ancient Apparition are not heroes. They like to maintain a certain distance on their enemy and then go in on their own terms. They do not like being surrounded by these heroes, and neither does Venomancer, honestly, because he could just get focused down here, imagine a sleep, into Disruptor, Static Storm. There's not a whole lot you can do about that combination. They're actually going to pick the Tidehunter into it. Tidehunter has been a response to Naga Siren setups a number of times because he's got the sustain, he's not really a hero you can focus down, and he's got this big Ravage turnaround. But it's up against the Disruptor, so they do have the Silence lockdown. Not 100% sold on this pick just yet.
Yeah. Kraken Shell, unfortunately, will not take that off. I mean, it is AoE Doom if you get hags and all that good stuff, right? So, and we'll see.
And the Luna in place of the Gyrocopter.
Okay.
Just, I mean, I think that was perfect because I was thinking, okay, Gyrocopter is gone. You want to be able to have another hero that's well set up by the team fight aspect of the Naga Siren, but you also want a hero that's going to be able to outscale what is currently set up from Team Liquid, which is just kind of a Venomancer core and a Tidehunter. I think you can still beat that. An early BKB hero is going to be fantastic as well with all this magic damage and the AoE disable of Ravage. Ignore all of it so far.
And right now, Liquid, their lineup does not go very late right now at all, especially against what VP have to offer. I mean, Luna, one of the best. Naga can transition into a core or into position 1 in a lot of cases, even as the off lane. So is there anything they can pick up for Liquid that actually...
Medusa?
That's pretty late game. I mean, do they want to just end the game early, possibly, with some hero pick?
Well, I think if you're VIRTUS.PRO, you're going to ban the Terrorblade because the Terrorblade versus Luna matchup is really unfortunate with Reflection.
Yeah, that's very annoying.
I think, but we'll see. They do need some physical damage, though, for sure, simply because I think they're a little bit too focused on magic damage so far with their first 3 picks.
I mean, even VP right now, that's quite heavy magic damage as well. They have some physical DPS in the late game with Luna, but still mostly magical heroes for both teams.
Yeah, I feel a little bit better about theirs simply because we do have this reliable physical damage later on in the game with the Luna. And they're going to take away a puck, another initiator thrown out of the pool.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't know what wraps this up for Liquid, though. We need a miracle hero
5 seconds remaining.
that will help them transition to the late game somehow.
VIRTUS.PRO's turn to
And they do ban the TB, as you said.
How about a Timber?
Timber against Ensnare and Disruptor.
Horrible, actually.
I mean, as much as I want to see a Timber, it's one of my favorite heroes to watch for sure. Don't think this will be. Don't think so. Will work out for them.
It's a tough ask, isn't it, Kat?
It's hard to fit in, but maybe Lifestealer?
That was banned.
Oh.
Yeah, it was banned.
Oh, yeah, Liquid took that out earlier.
Banned it.
Yeah, I was saying for VP, it's weird to fit in, but the magic immunity, I think you want kind of a durable hero that gets on top of these and can sort of lock himself on there. That's why I was a fan of the Juggernaut as well.
Which they banned.
Maybe the DK's out.
Team Liquid's turn to pick.
Queen of Pain. My goodness. All right.
Let's see then. Where does Liquid go?
Yeah, you
More
get those.
obnoxious?
We might see a lot of denies this game. I think that's 2 out of the 3 heroes that have deniable spells, if I'm not mistaken. Shadow Strike and Venomous Gale. Very important stuff.
5 seconds remaining.
It's all the little things. They all add up.
How's, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a hard carry, like Void or something. I don't know how good that is this game. It doesn't really feel very miracly either. Miracly?
He's played a lot of PL recently.
Yeah, Phantom Lancer against the AoE is not so good. There's so much AoE control.
Pugna could be okay.
Here for him. So what is he going to pull out? He's going to pull out the PL.
I don't like this lineup.
I don't like it either.
Okay.
That means they're going to win, pretty sure.
Yeah, pretty sure that is exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got SK and all his AoE, Queen of Pain, ton of AoE there. You've got the nice Static Storm lockdown against this with the setup of the Naga Siren against the PL on top of that. I kind of feel like Liquid and that last pick was put into a corner.
It was very limited, wasn't it? There wasn't a huge amount left out there. So go for comfort, I guess. All right, where are we going with predictions?
I'm going VP. I really like their lineup. I've liked it from the first 3 pickups. Only thing I really like about Liquid is the fact they've got Matumba Man Venomancer, so VP.
That's never a good thing. to just be happy with
some
that.
damage in this game.
Yeah, I mean,
Shannon, where you going?
As much as I like PL nowadays, because he does scale a lot better, especially since he's got that level 25 talent, although Miracle did not pick that up in the last time he played it. I do think VP's lineup is just way better right now.
Okay, let me just double check this. You both went for Liquid game 1, right?
Yes, so it's going to game 3.
Listen, we're just setting up the whole 1-1 situation.
Gotcha,
Game 3, let's go.
I'm totally on board with that. I'm sure everyone here is on board with that, unless they're a VIRTUS.PRO fan, which I know there are a lot of you here for as well. Now, can VIRTUS.PRO make it to the grand final in double quick time, or can Liquid peg them back to 1-1? Let's rejoin our commentary team of Toby1 and Purge.
I sit here as a biased commentator, hoping that once again the panel is incorrect. I want a game 3, Kevin. And right now, looking at the draft, it doesn't look that strong to see a game 3. Both the panelists, they went for VIRTUS.PRO, and we're having concerns about the laning phase.
Yeah, I can definitely see where everybody's coming from there. But oftentimes what Liquid does is things that confuse me that ultimately work out really well in the end. Just because the overall synergy between VP's drafts don't necessarily look good. Liquid is always looking for a way to provide a solution against that. And maybe strong lanes is one way. Because VP has picked some heroes that are slightly weird in this draft. The Queen of Pain has been occasionally used, but isn't seen as the best core right now. And while Luna's had a lot of success in the last 2 days on stage, she was barely touched in the group stage. So maybe there's some solution against this that that Liquid is looking at. Like, for example, lots of PL illusions is going to eat up things like glaives in team fights.
Yeah.
VP has a lot of stun and things like that, but maybe if the PL gets to a good position, or maybe if Liquid starts a good fight with Ice Blast and Ravage, it'll just be one of those annoying heroes dead anyways, and they can play through it. So
yeah.
Lanes are obviously a huge impact. In the previous game, Liquid had a tough time in their lanes. Maybe they can turn it around for game 2.
I'm interested to see if they are capable of doing that, because really when you look at these lanes, like, we're not even going to know exactly what the lanes are going to be yet. Both teams are 5-man smoked up, and they're putting aggressive vision into the opposition's jungle. So far we haven't seen GH drop his ward just yet. VP only committed a sentry ward onto that bottom lane. I'm not even certain that actually blocked the camp. It's like right on the edge with the animation.
It'll be in for sure. I mean, they can tell right away. I think it shows a colored animation
when
you drop it.
It's meant to change red when you do it, and I don't see the red for last, but the stalk is inside. So we'll just say that camp is blocked. We'll see it 1 minute, double check. Yeah.
So with that camp being blocked, it just means really bad levels for Liquid. And that's a pretty bad thing considering that they have an A as well as our Spirit. Our Spirit, I feel like, has been kind of suffering in terms of level acquisition lately since the boundary rune change, and A definitely wants to get some free levels by pulling. So and at least in the off lane, as far as that's concerned, it should be a nice advantage here for VP's characters. But with mind control going to the bot lane, apparently it's not going to matter because they're going to go for an aggro try.
They're already switching it up. So the Venomancer and Ancient Apparition, always a fun combination with the Chilling Touch and then the early slow that can come from a Tumba. Difficult to walk away, and this is the downside about Luna, right? Like her attack range is so poor, and they're already switching the lanes. They're already TPing out. The Solo, he's in a world of hurt. Rolling Boulder forward, his TP, is it going to be in time? The ticks are there, and he's living at the fountain, barely.
What an escape there. I mean, Liquid was basically all set up for that. They weren't expecting to see 3 heroes top, and they saw him coming with the ward. Kuro goes to hide, and still instantly Solo knows he's in trouble. The Gale lands, and he starts his TP. Huge TP escape there by him.
Yep. That really shows the weakness in this offlane, the fact that there is no stuns until GH can get a couple more levels. But then Liquid, they move their heroes around once more, so Tyranitar doesn't want to be on the bottom lane by himself up against the Luna, hence he's so protected in the trees. But Miracle can have a good fun time at mid. He's going to actually level up the Phantom Rush, going in on no one with GH2, trying to force some kind of reaction, and they get it. Solo moves to mid lane.
That's another really cool thing about them putting the PL mid that they've anticipated. That was the best Doppelganger, dude. 2 wasted spells. As soon as the dagger lands, as soon as Thunderstrike is cast, he can just use Doppelganger. It dispels himself, no damage. So not only does PL fit well in the matchups, but in the lanes, it's definitely the right thing to grab. He can still be right-clicked, obviously, but in terms of dispelling spells, he's in a good spot. Unless they cast twice in a row while dispel's on cooldown.
On bottom lane, Roger's a little bit too deep. He has Ensnare as well as Riptide, but this won't help. Rolling Boulder well off the mark from GH as Roger ran down south. The only way to escape, but thanks to Chilling Touch slow, Naga still on the run a long way, but they don't actually have the follow-up. Roger's going to salve and retreat.
Yeah, the missed Rolling Boulder caused them to lose that kill. Maybe if Tide had Gush, definitely a kill, but picks up level 2, grabs Anchor Smash, and now he's... And now his second missed kill for Liquid, and another 30 seconds until they get Chilling Touch again. So AA is certainly having a bad time. He does have a sentry, though, so if he places his sentry correctly, he can get a D-ward, but just past the 2-minute mark, there's very little that Crow is going to be able to accomplish in these first 3 minutes.
Yeah, but he'll accept that. He knows the laning phase is still going to be better. Mind control up against Ramses. We talked about like that range battle for the Luna. It's terrible for her, but it's great for mind control, and the Naga couldn't really do much more apart from burn a lot of life, a lot of damage onto herself. And Matama could just sit up on this top lane. Pasha can just sit invis, most definitely, so we can see that 1k strat come out, but instead he's just holding the point, so he's actually no, he's just put the second point up into Burrow Strike. So ready to be aggressive if the impulse does come for it.
I think Matoma Man will be fine here as he picks up 2 points in Poison Sting. Just very easy for him to harass his opponent. Gank's going to be coming in mid, or at least some pressure on Miracle here.
Are they waiting for it? Miracle's going to doppelganger off at least the Thunder Strike. Won't be able to doppelganger the next part. Roger, here's your glimpse back. They have Riptide as well as Ensnare. Lock down Miracle. All they try to do is bait out that doppelganger. Now Miracle needs more life, but he won't have it. No one spilling first blood onto Miracle. Support just not fast enough or effective enough from Team Liquid.
Kind of a big mistake from Miracle there. As he used Doppelganger, they're going to try to harass no one at least here.
Yep.
But he needed to either not use Doppelganger so early, or he needed to just walk away as soon as he Doppelganger. But he kind of chased after Solo to go for a right click, and as soon as the dagger landed, he was in a lot of trouble.
Now they look to go to a Solo, but Roger is back once more. The Ensnare is on GH. They change the target. The Rolling Boulder blocked by Roger. Liquid trying to help out their mid lane with PL, but it's just escalating the issue as this has turned into a tri-lane for VIRTUS.PRO in mid lane.
And VP's just executing it perfectly. They know what Liquid is, how they're going to react, and they're just showing up at the perfect times to punish those errors when Miracle does do things like use Doppelganger. Like, VP is just doing this lane harass so well. It's amazing that in games like this with some of the best, with probably the best players in the world, that they can still outplay each other.
The sacrifice is still coming on their side lanes. Luna at 11 CS compared to the 21-2 of Mind Control. And then up on top, Sand King, he's still getting a decent amount, 15-3 against the 19-5 of Venomancer. But obviously the fearful thing is Matamaman's levels.
Well, it doesn't have to worry about Gale for a bit at least.
Yeah, it's the Gale was well off target. Rolling ball to bottom Ramsey to keep him in position to the cold feet. It should trigger. So Kuro gets the kill, Roger and Solo. They have glimpse of Arbel, so we'll get revenge. GH just cannot get away from the tower.
They might chase this.
And
They've got glimpse.
Yeah, Mind Control knows he has to get aggressive. Yeah, she got the Ink Smash off Roger. The cold feet tick. Kuro gets the double kill.
Oh, the
attack
salve.
from Solo. No, the salve. Kuro still doesn't have enough life to survive. Ramses will rejoin the fight as Mind Control into the trees. Burns off the Mango. Looking for a kill onto Solo. Support is there. It's going to be GH. They're both split on different targets right now. But that kick from GH, it goes through Roger as well as Solo. But it wasn't enough of a delay. Kuro will pick up Solo on the sides. Now rotated as that AA. GH needs more space. Rolling Boulder is back off cooldown. And Roger, well, he needs to play the Fog of War or else Roger's just going to body block it out. Kuro trying to keep Ramses at bay, but now it turns into a fight for Kuro. Now Tidehunter return to the fight. Ramses' cold feet won't trigger, but Roger's in deep. No more man to work with. So all they got to do is keep the chase up. Chilling. Wait, no, Ramses? He turned around, one charge, had the mana for the Lucent Beam. Kuro thought he had a fight. He had Chilling Touch as well as the Ice Vortex ready to help out Mind Control.
He just didn't feel super confident about any of those kills. He was scared to commit to it, and man, VP again just outplaying their opponents here. Getting these little edges, but Liquid is on the board, and their net worth is sitting very good. And that's mostly because Matamaman is at a super easy game, right-clicking creeps on the top lane. So while the lane rotations from the supports are not going Liquid's way, their gold on paper is good, and that just means their cores will have to transition later into pulling more weight in these fights.
And he finally hit that Gale up on top. That's why the SK TP'd all the way home. 3 points up in Sting. Easy harassment. Bottom lane, however, VIRTUS.PRO, we're going to go again. Mind Control still not 6, and VP trying to initiate as much as they can. Rolling Boulder through. GH looking for the kick to create a little bit more space. Hasn't thrown it out just yet. Now it comes. Both Rams and GH and Roger caught, but Solo has the glimpse available. Mind Control, not enough life to survive as one loose beam will finish the job. But Kuro in through the side. The cold feet will kill off Roger. They turn their attention towards Solo as Rolling Boulder in. The supports from Team Liquid are doing it as Solo will die inside of his own kinetic field.
Great rotation there, but it all starts off with the Tide anchor smashing as many heroes as possible. It limits VP's damage, and finally they're not able to outplay their opponents with raw damage. So great rotations from the supports on Liquid side, and they're able to catch up, and the game is very equal right now.
Roger's moved off lane. He's headed up towards the top. Able to secure the bounty runes if they actually existed. Is there one on the Dire side. Luna's also coming top. So it looks like VP do not want to keep that engagement going. Understandable when you got a 13-2 CS Luna. He's got 3 kills, but this may make it 4. Matamaman needs some distance. There's 1 charges to get that Lucent Beam back off cooldown. Rolling Boulder, GH needed to get the kick a little bit earlier than that. And now he's stranded, ensnared up right under the attack of VIRTUS.PRO. 2 heroes lost on the top while bottom lane. Ravage burnt. They're trying to kill off Solo. Kuro and Mind Control combo together to make it so.
Cooldown expensive, but absolutely worth it to get the kill, because it's so early in the game that by the time the next teamfight rotation comes up, Ravage is off cooldown. And twice now I've seen Ramses barely get kills on heroes right before their raindrop comes back up. Liquid just little fractions of seconds where they don't get the raindrop damage block and they end up going down. So still very close moments here whether they get the kills or not.
I think on bottom lane, yeah, they're waiting for that Burrow Strike. There's no Sandstorm available for Pasha, so Ice Vortex into the cold feet. Pasha will have this click on him, and all Mind Control needs to do is just hit him once more, but no, the one charge keep him alive with a Sonic Wave! No one TP's in and cleans up the Liquid.
A solid rotation there. Ran out of damage, and it looked like a great kill opportunity, but Sand King ends up staying alive with the Wand. Wand is like the hero of this game so far, I'm pretty sure.
They're trying to tick down Ramses a little bit on top, but this will be a little bit easier, Roger. You can Riptide all you want. They're still Rolling Boulder. There's still kick available. And with the Poison Sting damage, Roger can't walk away from this fight. It's just too difficult. Down to 12 HP, and the Sting will finish the job. Matamaman claiming that one.
Gets a Bounty Rune Thief at least before he dies. Luna's just dying to Poison Sting right now randomly. Must have been a ward or something.
This is what Matamaman's been doing. We were kind of gossiping about this at the very, very beginning of the draft. It's like, yeah, Venomancer, he can go anywhere. Matamba just gets 4 points in Sting and wins the lane. The Plague Ward levels come back later, but it's just this pure lane harassment.
And even to kill him, it's so dangerous because you're going to be slowed for a long time as you retreat, but this is one way to do it.
Yep.
Big committal with the smoke from the tri-lane.
He just put the second point up into Plague Ward, so no Nova to give a large amount of damage back. He can Gale, he can Sting a little bit. And with the Plague Wards down, he will still actually have a decent amount of tick. And the kick, actually Luna control for the glimpse. There's always that plan B, but the silence, but Tommen stands his ground a little bit longer. Roger has Gale and Sting on top of him. He's dying. I think he wants to be denied. Where is this? Like, is GH going to have a crack? Rolling Boulder. Roger. He uses Mirror Image trying to dodge the damage. Ramps won't be so lucky. Team Liquid get both of them on top. A big streak to end as well. 5 times.
It's the same thing we saw last time when Tomaman played Venomancer. He gets killed in some of these ganks, but even without his ultimate, he just does so much damage.
Fire Strike into Epicenter Mind Control. He gets the Anchor Smash off 2 seconds before Ravage comes back off cooldown. It wouldn't have helped him anyway.
But net worths across the board still looking very even. The cores on VP are stronger, but their supports are bottom all the way at the very bottom.
It's a double smoke gank from both VP and Liquid, and both the smokers will run into each other. GH seeing Solo and Roger, taking half a second to react, but gets the kick and the cold feet. They're hoping to pick up Solo, because he's the man that's going to glimpse him back into the fight. No one, prepping Sonic Wave, the 2 of them bring him back in, and that timing!
That was just so perfectly executed. And instantly they smoke. I think that was even in Vision here. Invis Rune is bottled, and they'll shift over. We'll see if Matoma Man will back up in time, but he's got a Hood of Defiance now, so it's even harder for him to get killed here. And there's a lot of magic damage coming from VP's side. If they don't overkill him with something like Eclipse, I just don't see Veno dying in these little 2 or 3 man skirmishes right now. At least not before backup.
They wrap around. Ramsey as well as Pasha came in through the Radiant Jungle. Mind Control. Well, if he just burns his ultimate, it's going to help him. Well, not at all, because no one's coming to help him. They just accept the fact Eclipse is burned.
And Mind Control does this a lot. Just goes to his lane, pushes it out, forces these rotations. And it does give his team some time. And normally I'd say it's okay, but in that moment where they also reacted to the other potential rotation, I think this was a rare time where we needed Mind Control to sit back and just play defensive to maximize what Liquid is trying to get.
Yep. For now, it's the top tier 1 tower. That's the object of Team Liquid. No one's just been having such a great game. He's 2 levels in front of Miracle at the moment. Number 1 on the net worth.
He's got 5 kills.
Yep.
At 11 minutes. That's incredible. And he's been a part of 7 kills. Just having a really good game here. If he can transition this well into a fast Orchid, that is the death of PL, if he can start finding PL early. Because it's a long time until he finishes some item that's going to keep him alive, such as Manta Style. So the faster the Orchid that he gets, this is really dangerous for Liquid.
He's going for the defensive Yule to begin with. Understandable with so much silence and dot, but Pasha, Fire Strike comes in, nice kick, but the wall as well as the storm from Solo. They get caught, sending the ground, Miracle copying a lot more damage, Doppelganger's away from the ensnares, Matamaman right in the thick of it. The Song of the Siren trying to reset from Roger, but Solo is currently ticking out. He needs a denial, both Pasha and Solo. They're both licking their wounds as they move back behind the tower. Roger cannot escape down the bottom. He'll try and bail out. Won't happen, but Solo ticks out underneath the tier 2 tower. Pasha was able to survive. But you really feel that damage output from the Venomancer, and it's going to get worse when the Veil of Discord gets completed.
It's just working so well. Ice Blast almost catches Pasha here as Kuro's looking for that snag. He also misses no one. That would have been an amazing double kill. But either way, it's just so straightforward for Liquid to take team fights. Drop the ulti, attack each person once. The Plague Wards are nice, but they're more of a way to deliver the Poison Sting, and he just collects items. And he gets this decent early game. It's very reminiscent of the previous match he played. He got pressured more that game, but he just still does so much with levels.
Here's your TP coming in from SK. No Blink Dagger available yet, so Pasha wants to defend, but there are a lot of friends around here. Observer Ward gives perfect vision for Team Liquid. The Rock.
That's a hard one. They
prepared. Yeah, they pinged it.
This is one thing that you can sometimes see in darkness without having vision.
Is the Rock?
I think so, because I don't believe they should have had vision in that
Pasha
area.
hit by the Gale, rolling bolt, need that silence out. No one, Ravage combining, clips the back line, which was Solo. The Pasha, they know he's in the trees. Burrow strikes up the hill, Matumban. Quick Plague Ward will give him the extra vision. But the death of the Queen of Pain means the VIRTUS.PRO really don't have a fight.
By far the best hero to catch. 5 kills. The killing spree goes over to Mind Control, and now he's just super caught up. approaching the core level farm on the enemy heroes, and as they get more and more hoods, it's even harder for VP to get these kills. They had such good rotations in the early game, and a blink is going to make a big difference here for Pasha, but they don't quite have the easy kill follow-up that you normally see out of a hero like Ancient Apparition. So it's going to require things like Queen of Pain ulti, like Luna ulti, to actually secure some of these rotations in the mid game, and it might give VP a hard time.
I'm wondering if Luna's actually going to be able to fight. Like, she's going to get burnt out pretty quickly once this diffuser play is completed on Miracle, and it's coming a lot faster just because of the space he had on top while Liquid were fighting in the mid lane.
He's still got a ways to go, though. He just started it, essentially. Still needs another 2K gold or so. But I think the hero of the game so far has definitely been GH. He's landing some huge silences on the whole fight. I mean, it's forcing the Queen of Pain down this Yule's path so that she does feel like she can contribute and stay alive. And landing his disables and getting levels has been giant. He's 1, 5, and 9. Couple
Epicenter.
deaths, but
going after Batalman. He didn't actually get that Hood of Defiance off to start with, and then they put him inside the wall. 14-1 charges. Venomancer can survive through this and potentially even Nova. But the rest of Liquid, they don't have time to fight. When the storm ends, the Eclipse reveals the dead Venomancer.
But that's 3 big ultimates. Just secure the kill. Pasha's in trouble. Kuro knew where he'd be. Down to the shrine to heal.
He gets away with murder.
Efficiency comes to hurt Roger in that moment. But it took so many resources just to kill the Venomancer there. It's a big kill, but if it takes 3 ultimates and they all have long cooldowns, how can you transition this?
Bottom lane, they're going to go after Mind Control. He's finished his own Hood of Defiance, so no one as well as Solo. They can glimpse him back. Support's coming over in the form of Miracle, so Mind Control will sit in the tree line. He doesn't have Ravage available, but here comes GH2. VP, this took too long. They're going to actually get punished on the bottom lane. Ramses wants to help out, but they can't do so when they've lost Solo. No one a defensive blink. It's on the cards to get back to the tier 2 tower, but with this kill, maybe now Liquid have the confidence to push forward. They have a full pipe on the Tidehunter and Ravage off cooldown in 5 seconds time. The team fight is most definitely theirs if they take it.
He's got a clarity as well to buff up the mana he needs. They're able to push, and it's so hard to take these fights because there's Plague Wards completely blanketing the whole area nearby. So even approaching from side angles is so dangerous. Like outside of Naga Siren ulti into Disruptor ultimate, it's very difficult for VP to win these team fights when you have to deal with Tidehunter Ravage, Veno stuff, and even like Earth Spirit reacting with AoE silences.
It's that downside about the SK too, like, hey, I want to use a Blink Dagger, but it's just not possible. So you need those big ultimates to work. Middle lane Ice Blast is on the way. It's just Liquid trying to ensure they can get that momentum swinging back the opposite direction as they do take the tier 2 tower on bottom.
It just really discounts how good Sanking is going to be. Well, when you have to deal with hoods, it looks like
a
dead hero.
He just came out to go on a warding mission. Observer and Sentry was in his hands. But he had no idea that Liquid were there. Pasha, he just walked straight past Mind Control to Burrow Strike the wave.
He knows where they are. He knows where they're going to go next. The next closest hero was him. It's time to leave and go top. So.
Roger's also looking to creep skip. Like, he's just sitting between the towers. They are really trying to create some space for Ramses to come online. And it wouldn't be the first time we've seen a Luna behind and then just come back. We had it in the previous series.
I think there's some potential of that, but it's so hard against this much magic resistance because that is Luna's one way to just kind of blow up more heroes than she probably should. Her right-clicking is strong, but Eclipse is usually the big damage dealer. And with a Hood and a pipe already finished, it's going to be hard.
There's so many Liquid coming under the cover of smoke.
Breaks. They might find her.
Yeah, Ramsey's already starting his TP. Pasha blinks the opposite direction. Burrow strikes up the hill. The silence was nice from GH. And the kick! The Ronaldo of Team Liquid. And they will look to take that tier 2 tower. No SK. And no fight for VIRTUS.PRO. They creep skip the mid.
And this is the best they can do right now. They can't even clear the creep waves very easy with these. So Liquid just keeps continuing to group up as 5 and push down towers, and VP's, they can look at this, but they can't really take the fight. Split pushing is the best they can do, but they're so worried right now. Because if they do get caught, no one can split push because he can Euls himself and then blink out, but a lot of the other heroes on his team are super vulnerable to these kinds of counter ganks. So Liquid just gets to do what they want, which is pushing towers and accelerating into items that are going to make a difference.
Yep. They'll have both Greaves as well as Pipe.
They got 2 pipes now, actually.
They actually, they're just going to, like, just stack them.
Yeah. The actives.
Well, don't stack them, just chain them.
The aura, I believe, does not stack, if I'm not mistaken. But you can recast the barrier now, as long as the first one is gone. So, and now Tide's just going to go for Mech and Pipe. I think this is a great idea, or Mech and Greaves. It's a great idea just because they're already difficult to kill with the overwhelming magic damage from VP's side. They can just build against it, and if they can just keep their whole team alive, they should be able to easily overwhelm them in damage output. The only hero that's really kind of squishy is maybe AA, but he's queuing up a Glimmer Cape now. So as long as his positioning is good, it's going to be really hard for VP to get these hero pickoffs, which is basically what heroes like Queen of Ping, that's their strength. So it's a terrible position for VP at the moment.
Yep. I'm actually wondering that if no one has to change his item build, because he is still looking to pick up that Orchid, but is it going to be too late to be effective? Do you just get Aghanim set? Do you try and slow down the push? Do you look for something else?
It's kind of hard to say, I guess. Orchid would let him get solo pickoffs, but Liquid is not going to be moving solo at many stages of the game, and Orchid is also preventable by magic damage block, so GH doesn't find him. But
he had no information to find him.
I mean, he's almost got his Blink Dagger. He'll be able to kill him next time.
Matumba is farming an Ancient stack on the Dire side underneath the Dire ward. And he should still probably feel pretty safe. Unlike the Naga Siren, Roger has really been pushing the issue a little bit too much in mid, so trying to get out of this, but it won't happen. My Control gets the pickup, no one, looking to jump onto Matumberman. SK's coming over too, they need that blink into Burrow Strike. Hold him there, Sonic Wave committal, but Matumberman, both Pipe and Wand charges. The Ice Blast will connect onto Pasha. No one, he's chilled, so and actually with the Sting, he's got Poison Nova and Poison Sting. Solo wants to deny him, he's looking for the right timing, but it's so difficult when the Ice Blast is on him. GH, he'll get the kick, but get it glimpsed away. It's buying time for Kuro to move up with Mind Control. Solo starting his TP. You are not Burning Ravage for that. Let the kill go.
The Evil Scepter looks so good, but the Shatter debuff still gets placed on him while he's in the air. And with the poison damage follow-up, there was no opportunity of solution there.
The ping's coming out for Roshan.
I mean, it's that control period. We're basically seeing a flip version of the game last game. I mean, VP's surprisingly got a lot of kills here, but does not feel like the game is within their control. But finally finding Veno when he was solo, that's a great grab. It does give VP some gold back in their advantage, and the Orchid purchase continues for Queen of Pain, so that'll just be a little easier next time.
Yeah, I'm not certain they're going to be too happy. All the money went into the Sand King. It's going to give him a 4-star, but they would have really loved the Luna to have that BKB. She's getting closer, and then Ramses becomes a little bit more of a stable element in the fights.
Yeah, he can actually jump in. I mean, if he doesn't have BKB, he's just going to get ravaged into killed.
Roger, Song of the Siren trying to stop the fun. He just walks up the river. GH is staying with him with the blink forward. Rolling boulder. Roger can't get the ensnare off. There's a quick glimpse from Solo, but it will not create enough space. At least not around Roshan. It's buying space for Pasha to pressure the top tower. Ramses, get the hell out of there. You're underneath Radiant Vision.
Yeah, we'll go back into base at least, but very easy to kill Naga without his TP up or Blink Dagger. The top tower is very easily pressured here, but Pasha is still scared to commit, and it's not worth his time anyway, so it's time to get back and defend, but there's no Song of the Siren. There's no Epicenter for 10, there's no Scream of Sonic Wave for 25 either, so hard to defend
all they can do is just push the side lanes, but they know they can fight this one because you've got the mech coming in for Mind Control, so Solo is just getting ripped apart by the illusions of Team Liquid, and they know they can take more, like they can on the bottom lane. Ramses forced into a 10-second defensive BKB. He wants to fight, but it's so damn hard. He's popped the Mask of Madness, cannot eclipse, and Liquid are already disengaging back to the tier 3 tower. I say back to the tier 3 tower, still their front line. Pasha scattered the Observer Ward, saw him in the back lines, a quick blink away. He'll dodge the kick of GH.
They are unkillable right now. That Static Storm did 0 damage. There's 2 pipes and now a hood on the Phantom Lancer. They know that all of the damage is magic. That's the only way that VP gets back in the game right now. So if they just all tank up, they're just going to overwhelm their opponents, walk them down slowly.
You almost got to catch them when the pipes are down. You've got 28 seconds before, actually no, Veno's still got his. Matumba's still got his up and running. So you can ensnare all you want, wait for the epicenter. Pasha's in a really good jump position. The back line, Sonic Wave goes to work. Here comes Pasha with a Burrow Strike forward, but all of the damage is instantly repaired. Pasha can't do anything. They've lost no 1-2. There's just nothing in the tank for VIRTUS.PRO. That's Miracle. Manages to mow down Roger. Run back to Fountain. It is the only safe place for VIRTUS.PRO right now. They will lose 2 lanes of racks here at least. The pipe's already back off cooldown for Mind Control.
I mean, they got like 2 of them right there. They'll be back at some point. And the bot Rax is being pressured. It's very likely to fall. Pasha does not have his ultimate here. Sitting on the sideline, maybe looking to do some kind of a combo, but they don't have Eclipse.
Yeah, with what?
They've got Static Storm.
Ramsey's even leaving. He's leaving the base out through the mid lane to try and push it back out. I think they just accept the fact this bottom lane of Rax is gone. Solo can glimpse and potentially get some kind of like exit kill on Team Liquid, but this is assuming that Team Liquid even want to leave.
I mean,
they're very comfortable where they are.
What Liquid realized this game is that the damage output of VP was very clearly magic damage, and they're also pretty cooldown reliant, and there's physical on Luna, but it takes like 2 or 3 items for her to reach anything resembling a Terrorblade's level of damage, so they kind of got hard committed here to this magic damage, and then Liquid's just overwhelming them with farm and the right items.
Roger, look for the song combination with Solo, and now they could potentially catch out 3, but no, Mind Control is just walking out of range of it. The kick stopping Roger, and finally the song and the siren will turn off. That's not the best combination, but it's Greaves. It's all the life. Roger can't do anything. GH, as she survives the attack, no one can even get the kill, and they cannot take the game. VP realize this and call the good game. We will be having a third matchup between Liquid and VP after Liquid just understood the lineup of VIRTUS.PRO perfectly, itemized to counter it, and take what looks to be almost an easy victory in Game 2.
Yeah, the amount of kills they had compared to how difficult that felt for VP, it just looked completely unmatched if you don't watch the game. And the itemization, the heroes, it looked pretty bad on paper, like they'd be vulnerable and gankable, and VP has all these stuns and things, but their damage output and their ability to burst heroes was so ulti-reliant, it wasn't easy to do, and Liquid just, they all benefited each other's heroes. They had exactly what they needed. The roaming went a little bit rough, and VP outplayed them there, but once they got to mid-game, game was over.
Felt like the lane switching too, like it just seemed to work so well once you have like how many times during this competition have we just seen that off lane of Radiant side just do so much better? It can be the Omni-Knight combination that I think Newbie was the one that was running that one. Then you have Matamaman saying, you know what, I can make Venomancer work in any lane. Just give it to me in the off. I get my max poison sting. Eventually someone's going to rotate off the lane and it's just going to work.
And I think that's why they had Kuro as well as GH start there, in addition to it being a little bit of a surprise. But Veno at level 1 is not Veno at level 3, 5, 7. Once he gets to level 5, level 7, he has tons of damage output. But before that, he's vulnerable. So maybe if they can shut him down when he's level 1, that's how they beat the Veno. But once he gets some levels, he's pretty unstoppable.
I have a way to beat the Veno. It's called ban it. But of course, that's a very complicated thing to do. What do you take out? What do you put in? We go to our panel of experts to find out what can they change in Game 3.
Yes, thank you, Toby. And of course, we will go back to Purge and Toby for game number 3. Good question as well. What do they ban? But still plenty of other questions. The first one of which is, the curse of Suns fan is real, gents.
Yeah, Suns fan.
Hi, me. We're a team,
This
guy.
never happens in our panels. Our panels are always fantastic. We always get our predictions right. You come in and mess the whole thing
how
up.
about this? How about you let me choose the winner for this next one, once the draft has happened, and then you just pick the opposite, and one of us is going to be right.
All right.
I like that. See, this is what we call the split approach.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, he
There's
does
a name
that.
for it.
He does that a lot. Yeah,
gotcha.
just to make sure that there's no panel curse, because right now you both are cursed. You've gone for the wrong team in both games.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jesus.
But that shows just how tight these games are, right?
Yeah.
You look at the draft and you think, this doesn't look like it can work from Liquid. It looks a bit disjointed. They look like they're struggling to find a decent mid. And actually, when you watch the game, you're like, well, okay, that's kind of working.
I underestimated how bad Queen of Pain is as a hero. It just looked real bad.
I think one of the biggest problems is that Matamaman they didn't shut him down early, and then you think about it, like every single time you hit a certain key timing on VIRTUS.PRO, it was directed at the Venomancer, right? And it was just the hero that would always be able to punish them. The first Blink Dagger of the Sand King up at that tier 2 tower. He was hiding in the jungle. It's to stop a Venomancer push. And he even still gets off his ultimate. They get an Ancient Apparition Ice Blast on it. There were so many times that VP went for one of those kills and failed. And that was another one. They actually killed the Venomancer there and then walked away, and they were both super low, and then, boom, they jump in and managed to get the kill on both of them. So there are so many times that actually happened. VIRTUS.PRO, maybe if they were able to shut the Venomancer down a little bit earlier in the laning phase, and then as a result, they are able to burst down that hero when they go for it without him getting off his Poison Nova. But it just takes that little bit, and everything turns against you, and it just becomes a harder and harder game.
I do love some of those reaction shots.
Yeah, that was
Pasha
nice.
there, just like literally, I had no idea that
Oh,
was
I got
coming.
ice blasted. That's the ice blast face right
it
there.
Was, yeah, it was.
Now, just to be clear here, Cap, I haven't really, kept up with things, but I'm 99.9% sure this is still the case, but I didn't see it the whole game for some reason. Gale is still deniable, right? That has not been. It's one of the 3 abilities, I believe. You got Doom, Gale, and Shadow Strike, 2 of which are in this game. We didn't see one deny.
It's really difficult because the Ice Blast is on you as well, so you have to do that quick math where you're like, okay, what level is the Ice Blast? Figure out the percentage-wise, and then be able to get the hit while Poison Nova, while Gale is taking you, while Ice Blast is taking you. You have to figure all of that out and be able to hit him at the right time to bring him down below the threshold. That makes Ice Blast finally finish him off.
Another reason
so you get the kill bounce.
Sound far too complicated. It's got to be easier than that, surely.
Definitely. But I think Veno AA worked, right? That's an old pub strategy. Yeah. Let's bring out some more pub strategy. We got like
some more pub
Sven Lina. That's an old classic, right? Yeah. Both terrible heroes right now. How about some Centaur Tusk?
Okay, this is getting out of hand there.
It's good.
Let's check in with our scoreboard and look at some heroes that are popular in the game right now and do actually do some damage and do synergize well, it seems.
Yes, indeed. Are we going to MVP yet, by the way? I'd like to give my MVP. Tell me if you guys agree. I think Kuroki is the MVP of this game. A lot of good Ice Blast, and the fact that he picked Venomancer for Matu.
Do you think that's how it works
yes.
in there? No, it's not.
Sure.
It's not.
Sure.
Trust me.
It's most valuable player, not most valuable drafter.
Well, he played. You're saying he didn't play well. That's what you're trying to say, huh?
No, you did have really good Ice Blast. You're absolutely correct. I would put it more on Matoma-Man myself, just because I think that the way he has a knack for it, man. I don't know. Maybe it's something about his personality. Maybe he has this aura about him that says, "Come and kill me, boys." He just always does this. He knows how to play aggressively in the right situations to be able to force the enemy team to go onto him. And Venomancer is probably one of the best heroes to be able to exploit this.
A lot of that might be because of game 1. He was playing Lycan, just got dumpstered very early, couldn't do anything. He's like, just give me Veno. It doesn't matter what happens, I'm going to be useful.
If they go on me, I'll hit the R button. It'll be okay. So I think Matoma-Man, we always praised him for his sacrificial carry to be able to create space for Miracle and for Mind Control. Here it's like, it's similar, but you're actually also a game winner when they go on you. You're not just saying, well, space created, you're saying, oh, team fight won.
So one of you goes from Matoma-Man, and the other one goes from Kuroki. So I think what we need is
just pick somebody else.
Drum roll, MVP, please.
Pick anybody else.
I can't keep the drum roll.
Oh, I win. I win, Cap. How does it feel? Oh.
Well, you were wrong again, so.
You just got That's right.
That means I'm going to get the incorrect prediction coming up. That's good to know. Yeah, he was, it's hard to pick MVPs with teams like this anyway. We've talked about this many times, right? So.
It's a token effort. We like to try and reward the players, but just show some love to one of them, as they're just slightly above the rest of the team. That's
I'm half Persian. Kuro's half Persian. I got to stick with my boys. I forgot to say I was biased, by the way. Easy peasy.
All right. So answer Toby's question before we go to the break. What do they do about the Veno? Just ban it now?
Yes.
I think so,
Is that the easiest thing to do?
I think so.
They banned it the first game.
Look, the Venomancer was gone for a while, and whenever you bring back one of these heroes, I always feel like there's an adjustment where people kind of remember how to be able to play against this hero, and I think that both times we've seen the Venomancer against Evil Geniuses, and now here up against VP, I think we're stumbling over some of those blocks, where the Venomancer is looking probably better than he actually is. So I think for now, just ban it.
Plus, he's a very skillful Veno player, right?
Yeah.
You can't forget that. Very, very skillful. I'm saying that as if it's sarcastic, but I'm being very serious. He's very good at Veno.
He hits that R button real good.
Real good.
Serious question now before we go to the break. Have you got any musical tastes, Shannon? I'm not aware of what sort of music you follow. Anything in particular?
I'm kind of old school.
Okay, I like that.
Is this an actual question?
No, yeah, just a genuine. Genuine. What music do you like?
I like oldies.
Okay.
And
was that Pink Floyd?
Yeah.
Oldies as in actual oldies, like Beatles, Beach
Wow,
Boys,
all right,
stuff
going
like
all the way
super.
back to the 60s.
And then
Okay.
System of a Down, Metallica. That's
wow,
a little bit more modern,
love it.
but still kind of old
You and I are going to
school.
get on like a house on fire.
Okay.
You, on the other hand, what's your music taste?
Sorry, Paul. I don't like our real music over there.
He doesn't get real music.
No, actually, I'm a big fan of Metallica and System of a Down, actually. My father was a big rock head, so I actually grew up in that environment. I also like hip-hop, which I know is to you, but
yeah,
I'm okay with it.
And talking of that, actually, We're headed to a break, and I don't know how to say this, but you should definitely buy this next rap CD.
Dropping this August, the hottest track from the hottest team in Dota, Team Secret, straight from the DPC, featuring Young Dog, Fat A, MID1, Gucci Ace, and introducing Crack Zone, with songs such as Bitch Don't Kill My Time, Brood Gonna Love It, 99 Problems But We High Ain't One, I Don't Need No More Points, Team Liquid, your monitor, fight your monitor, check your monitor. And of course, Enigmas in Paris. Team Secret, straight from the DPC, dropping in August.
Ready. Steady. Game on.
You have rejoined us at the Bucharest Major. It is the second to last day here as we try and find our second grand finalist. It's a tough one as well between two fantastic teams on top of the world right now in the DPC. It is, of course, Team Liquid and VIRTUS.PRO, and they're tied up 1-1 in this game and now 5-5 in the head-to-head so far in the DPC. You just can't separate them, except we're going to have to next because only one can advance to the grand final. We've got our panel members once more here to talk you through the third draft. Sunsfan and Capitalist back with us. Forget about the curses. Forget about, you know...
I can't. No, that's not.
Right.
I can't do that.
Looms over our head.
And move past it. If you had to throw everything on one of these teams before you saw the draft, who would it be?
As in
VIRTUS.PRO.
yeah, I mean, They've been more solid. I think we talked about how good the Venomancer was last game, but how hard is it really to play, Cap? Let's be real. You know, once that's banned, which we assume it's going to be, I don't know. It could go either way, honestly. But yeah, VP, I feel more confident in overall.
Okay. Sure. Have Liquid shown in that second game some of the qualities that we know they're capable of?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think there's no doubt. Like, for me, I just instantly jumped VIRTUS.PRO, but I think the line between the two is very, very small. I think Team Liquid, really solid play in that game, too. Yeah, I think this is going to be one hell of a game 3. Hopefully, we'll have an even game 3 because I felt like both
nice,
game 1 and 2 were pretty one-way.
Shannon, I want to talk to you about the experience behind the team, because you've had some, you've owned a team, obviously.
Oh, have I?
They've been at TI.
You've
reminded me a couple of times over the last few days. But you've been behind stage when they go out and they're about to go out in a big game, you know, TI final or whatever.
Yeah.
Does anything really matter to them? Does anything faze them, in your opinion? Because I'm sort of thinking here, I'm sitting here thinking, I know GH is going to be going through his mind at some point. I really want to win a major, and we've got to win this next match. And is he thinking about that now? Does it ever cross his mind, do you think?
So,
and the same with VIRTUS.PRO. They've got history to be made here to win 2 back-to-back majors.
So I'll admit my experience in this field is a little bit limited. A lot of it because the team that I was representing hadn't won jack shit at the time, right? Like, we're talking about VP and Liquid. They're very confident teams. They're very confident players. So I don't think they're going to have the same mentality that we had. Because I was scared.
And
like,
your team went on this crazy run. You're like, I've never been in this position before.
I don't understand I don't know how we're winning anymore.
What does that mean?
But did any of them show nerves in that respect of, you know,
no.
Christ, we're about to go
Honestly,
out
no. They didn't show it. I mean, obviously everybody's going to be nervous to some degree, but and TI is just its own beast, of course. Sure. Yeah, there's some nerves to come in for sure. Especially, I think the biggest thing, if you've had like a bad game in the series or the game previous or something like that, that can kind of, you know, bother you mentally. That's something to definitely keep in mind. But I don't know if anybody really had a bad performance per se. You know, I mean, the co-op. I just feel like it's the hero. It's not the player, maybe. You can blame it on the game.
Yeah, blame it on the game. Absolutely. We're well into this draft. They've been very speedy so far, and the Veno has got through.
Okay.
The opening. Are you surprised?
Yes.
Well, they got a Terrorblade in exchange.
Yeah.
So
you get low with that.
Maybe a little bit.
That Poison Nova, you just swap HP, easy peasy. You know.
Yep.
I don't know. Veno is. I mean, we'll see what else. I mean, that can't just be it though. They have to have something else in mind for sure. Either that or they are ridiculously stubborn, which Dota players are generally. So
yeah, there are a number of captains who have been. I don't know if they're stubborn or not, but they refuse to think that they can't beat something.
Right. If they beat us with Veno, then we deserve to lose. If we know they're going to be picking it, you know, that's their mentality a lot of times for sure. Like, this hero is garbage. There's no way it's good. And then the next week, they're picking it themselves every single time.
We do see the Ench band this time around. It was one of the things that we were discussing last time around. They do like to combo that with both the Earth Spirit and with the Veno, so it would have been a really good pick this time around.
And Liquid like it against the Terrorblade.
Yeah.
Able to shoop, grab one of those illusions. Also, it's another one of those classic, it's a ranged right clicker that you want to try and put some direct damage into. Well, what better hero than someone whose damage comes from distance? Just lays it all into one person.
Can I make like a Hail Mary pick here?
Yeah. Warlock?
No, although Warlock is pretty crazy. When is the last time, this isn't actual, this is a more hypothetical question. When's the last time you guys remember, maybe it's even in this tournament, I just didn't
3 days ago.
Necrophos.
Oh, Necrophos.
When has he been picked?
We did see one in Genting, I think, from memory. But you're right, not
I would love to see a Necrophos this game.
No, gross hero.
That's precisely my point.
The man wants to see an Alchemist game. I mean, does it surprise you when he wants to see a Necro game?
Oh, Alchemist, actually, you reminded me. I do want to see that. That would be great.
God.
Okay, well, Oracle, this is going to be a hard Terrorblade to kill. I will say that. Gets low, False Promise, swap health, easy.
Yeah, they're going to be able to protect it, though, with this Oracle pickup. You also have the magic immunity that Oracle gives you as well, just to be able to help buy time for this Terrorblade to successfully get off his ultimate. But Liquid are definitely double downing on making sure that they win these big team fights when Poison Nova and Golem are up. Very long cooldowns, but they match the Metamorphosis, so that's entirely okay.
What do you think of PL again for Liquid?
Yeah. I think it has big issues with the Terrorblade, though.
Yeah.
Cantony, this is the first time ever they've run an Earth Spirit and a Warlock in the same game.
You're talking about the reflection?
Yeah, exactly. I'm much more a fan of certain heroes like OD, Tinker. Tinker was banned away by VP. You know another one who's, I think is actually kind of okay that we were talking about in the break, Paul. Your choice of the unplayed heroes, which is Sniper. Yeah.
Oh. Sniper.
Troll, I think, is also not terrible. I think Optic are kind of onto something with that pickup, though the hero is questionable. Offlane Tide, not terribly surprising. Again, versus the Terrorblade, the limitation on damage thanks to the Anchor Smash, as well as your nice AoE control. Death Prophet right back at you, gives you nice sustain against the damage over time that a lot of Liquid are employing here, and you've got a double push strat as well. And then the Oracle combos really well with the Death Prophet. You just can't kill this hero. You amplify the healing that she gets off of Spirit Siphon, and maybe the Exorcism Ghost if they come back during your False Promise.
And one thing to note is both teams have ridiculously long ultimate cooldowns. You have Warlock, Tidehunter for Liquid, and then the other side, Death Prophet, Exorcism, and, well, Metamorphosis is basically the ultimate for TB. So a lot of these games come down to correct usage of those. If you can get a team to actually waste one of those, you can end up sneaking a Roche. That can end up just being the game like that. I'm personally not a huge fan of stacking those types of things on the same team, but, I mean, if both teams are going to have them, then whatever. But then again, one of them is on a core here, or on a position 1 for VP, as opposed to Liquid. It's just the offlane in one support.
I like the Furion ban here. I think that would have been pretty adequate for VIRTUS.PRO to be able to keep these side lanes pushed in. Their lane shove is okay when it comes to the Terrorblade Illusions pushing out. Sand King's a great farmer in that regard. Oh, Morphling instead. Yeah, Morphling TB. So I'm kind of down with the OD here.
You know what's surprising is actually gotten through this whole way, even though I don't think it's going to be picked, is Elder Titan. That's crazy,
Yeah, probably
actually.
won't get picked now either. Both have their supports.
They could always run the Sand King as their offlaner instead, but you're right.
No, you have mega heal, though. I mean, we talked about how good Oracle is with TB, but with Death Prophet as well, pretty disgusting.
Yeah.
Just Oracle, just feel, ever since they changed the, what is it, the turn speed improvement on top of, what was the second change, do you remember, for Oracle in the latest patch? Something small, but it was in addition to the turn rate, and that, just a change like that means this hero is going to be picked more often, which is good to see, because he was completely forgotten about for the longest time.
They have used it in the group stages against Optic in that first game, which they lost with. That was with a strange lineup as well. It was a Jug, Tiny, DK, Oracle, Chen.
I mean, Oracle is one of those heroes that in the past just felt super underwhelming in a lot of lineups, but
there's only a few players that seem to be able to make it work, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think it's good enough now that most teams are going to definitely try it at the very least.
I seem to remember it having a run 6 months ago-ish. Start of the DPC.
Yeah, I think that was either before or after the changes to his first ability. But
yeah, I think PGL Open Bucharest and Hamburg, it was run by VIRTUS.PRO back then as well.
I wonder how Brewmaster fares here for VP. Another really longer cooldown, but it's a team fight winner, and maybe it's one of those you could just throw the Venom up in the air and ignore him. Underlord, so giving yourself big sustain.
I like Underlord.
Does push the SK into the support role.
Yeah, and you've got a nice pipe picker upper here. One of the big advantages Liquid had in that last game was the fact they had double piped heroes. Really negated a lot of that magic damage.
They knew what they wanted.
Oh!
And what they wanted was
my
Huskar.
lord. I was going to say, Huskar and Oracle's a thing, but I mean, technically Huskar Warlock, that's a lot of heal, and that is kind of an all-in play right there. That is ballsy.
And the OD would have actually matched up against the Underlord, but Huskar matches up against him as well. When it comes to that laning phase, you have that really big advantageous 1v1.
Hasn't been picked yet, but it has been banned once, so it didn't go on our picked and banned list. But it definitely comes off that list now. Has it swayed?
Oh, God. No, no.
Our analysts, because this is the moment of truth, boys. This is your moment to shine. And I'm hearing that production are going to try and help you both.
I know what I'm saying, actually.
Okay, all right.
You know what you're saying, so regardless of what I say?
No, I still want to hear what...
Okay, Shannon, go first.
You know, I'm going to go with my gut, which is very hopeful in nature. I think VP actually has a better lineup, but I'm going to stick with VP.
Okay. So you're going to go.
Is that the same as you?
Okay, so just let me be clear. So
I can change.
Sunsfan is going with VIRTUS.PRO. Okay, so can we get production to put the predictions up? So Sunsfan goes with VIRTUS.PRO. There we go.
Very good, thank you.
Capitalist. I'm just production helping us. Just go along with it.
I am going VIRTUS.PRO. I don't care if you went the same. I'm not gonna cop out here. I'm gonna stick with my gut. I'm gonna say VIRTUS.PRO.
Okay, all right. So as you can see on the screen, both of the analysts have gone for VIRTUS.PRO. We're covering all bases here. We don't want to favour one team. We don't want to curse anyone. So ladies and gentlemen, here is game number 3 with Toby Wanna Purge.
That whole panel is cursed, but we are blessed. Here for game 3, Liquid versus VIRTUS.PRO. Let's just get into it. I want to start this one, Kevin. We have ourselves a Husker 5th pick. A Husker 5th.
It's a hero that we've been talking about every time that we see an Oracle picked or a Dazzle picked. We're always like, but what about the Huskar? It's been just long enough that I think everyone's ready to see it once again.
It's on the other side, though. Oracle's on the other side.
I mean, their obvious tell was not there, right? I mean, what's the difference between an Oracle and a Warlock? Is there that much?
There's
yeah, it's a little bit.
Yeah, just a couple.
Heals is all that matters, right? And a lot of damage, that isn't really countered by Underlord. So I think the Huskar can definitely work well. It's just a hero that can be controlled, and I think against Terrorblade, it's also kind of scary because TB does so much physical damage, and that's generally the solution against Huskar.
It's kind of funny though too, because I was kind of making a bit of a joke about it. So Terrorblade does a lot of physical damage, but Huskar almost kind of like when he's taking magical, he wants you to almost sunder him because his Berserker's Blood's going to kick in at that point. So Miracle normally runs low anyway. So while Rams might get a safety thing, GH, we get ourselves a Thief in the Night.
And now he has to dodge for 10 seconds.
He's got 4 seconds till TP.
That's true.
Unless Roger can catch him.
Yeah, they're going straight for him. He'll just run all the way
back.
Where
do you want to hide? Actually, he's clarity up.
I guess he's in this for the long run, guys.
He's here for the courier snipe is what he's here for. It'll take some time.
He'll roll back home eventually. It'll be fine. So it's a safe lane Underlord. That's going to be versus a Warlock Huskar. Not surprising at all. Very good dual lane. In some ways a lot better than an Oracle in the laning stage. Just because he'll be able to output a lot more heal towards Huskar. And he's just going to constantly put spears on Underlord and some Shadow Word too.
Yep. Keep Parcher as low as you possibly can. Then the middle lane becomes one of these contagious lanes too. Matumberman, as we mentioned in game 2, he goes high points up in Poison Sting. There's going to be a lot of harassment into the Death Prophet. I don't even know exactly how Death Prophet's meant to engage, because if you get level 2, which you're about to on Matumberman, GH, wide ball.
He misread it. I think no one kind of baited him there. He looked like he was going to run back to safety, then he jukes him, and as soon as you dodge the rolling boulder, you're pretty much fine. I think it is interesting that they went for Oracle on VP side, though.
Oh, there's your Gale. GH, this time, rolling boulder in. This time he'll connect on no one. Will body block him. No one's so slow. Matumberman with that sting, Spirit Siphon is making GH walk away. But Siphon's being burned and no one ticking down. Burning a lot of consumables already.
Yeah, gets quite a bit of the health left. Extremely slowed, but not very damaged, surprisingly, in that trade. But I think the Oracle was grabbed as a solution, possibly, against the Venomancer damage. I mean, there's so many fights in the early mid-game where they'd get Veno low, they would secure kill or almost secure kill, and then people would just take out the poison damage. But now with Oracle, at least, they can drop Fate's Edict on whoever's taking the magic damage and just keep them alive in these crucial moments. And I think it'll make a big difference in how farmed Veno is, since he just outputs so much magic damage.
Roger's on the run from Kuro. Warlock is currently soloing up a Sand King. We'll have a little bit of extra help come in, which is the courier with items. Miracle is crushing this top lane. In fact, like the CS is just so good from both of these cores. The 9-8 on Ramses and then the 8-8 over on Miracle. And they're really controlling up the lanes hard, so Tide and Underlord are getting almost nothing.
And back on the safe lane, Tidehunter's got quite a few mangoes, a lot of regen. Oracle naturally can't do very much. I mean, a fourth of his damage is blocked right off the bat from Kraken Shells, so he'll be fine in his lane, most likely.
Well, they're rolling bouldering again onto that mid lane. Gale's already being committed. It is that level 2, and using the illusion of GH, Matumberman gets a little bit longer to attack into no one. Gale and Poison Sting will not kill him. Just drop him low, and then the South once more. That Courier's been working overtime in the mid lane.
He Gales it. Yep, saw that coming. Walked way too close to the Veno there, and that's going to be able to break the Salve. So now Death Prophet's heal is, he loses at least like 200 or 300 HP with that Gale.
He's burning so much money on consumables. Solo is burning a lot of life, harassing Mind Control out. Anchor Smash is back off cooldown, but Mind Control's not having any friends come to help him at all.
I mean, Liquid tried to tell us at TI that Veno is OP, but I think they're making the case again here. It's winning matchups. Oh, there's the Gale again.
Yeah, rolling boulder in. There should be first blood. No one underneath his own tower. Being brought down. Roger would have been there to help, but he was too busy moving up to the top lane to try and help out Pasha, because Miracle and Kuro have been adding so much pressure to this Underlord that VP are just being forced into this 2-1-2 kind of split.
Yeah, the Husker pick just kind of ruined everything for VP. They thought that they had banned all of the heroes that win these 1v1 matchups kind of thing, but apparently not. Veno is still extremely strong at trading, and playing against a Huskar is a dangerous situation for a hero like Underlord.
Underlord's actually out of consumables now. Level 2 Shadow Words continue to be burned by Kuro into Pasha, and it's not a healthy position for this Underlord to be in, but like, there's only one courier. You can't bring out more consumables. Roger looking for a Burrow Strike into mid. As Mataman held in position, they will find this kill. TP in from Kuro. That level 2 Shadow Word looking for a target. Cuts through the tree line to put it onto Roger, but with Spirit Siphon from no one. Rolling boulder. GH will come in for the double kick. He'll get a revenge kill onto the SK. Not quite certain that courier wants to be there. Is waiting for the Venomancer to arrive as GH, well, he can't really help out. This is just Solo going to walk away from him.
He could just teleport, but I don't think he feels threatened at all. Nobody else is going to follow him this far, so they're just going to fight for bounties. That's it.
They're bringing friends. Roger's coming in, rolling boulder in from GH. He'll steal the bounty room, but Roger looking for the revenge. He's only got a level 1 Burrow Strike. He has to be slowing down with Ramses moving off the bottom lane. They'll pick up the Earth Spirit, a kick away. GH, all he does is waste time before his own death.
It's a really good rotation there from VP to read exactly what he was going to try to do, and with Terrible Age shifting over, super solid kill. So very even game. More kills for VP's side, kind of reminiscent of the previous match, but in the meantime, Liquid always has that one hero top in last hits.
That's a double damage for no one with Spirit Siphon, Shadow Word, Restoration on Kuro, the miss. It's going to be there. Mataman wants to fight, but it won't happen, as he did miss the Gale onto no one.
A little different skill build than last game too, kind of interesting. He's changing it up.
The 3-2 as opposed to the 2-3.
Kind of surprised he's not going the same pathway, but maybe he wants a lower cooldown on Gale. Ability to break the raindrops a little earlier, perhaps? Not sure.
Potentially.
It would break raindrops at 3 points. Maybe that's why. But Roger's still sitting around looking like he wants to help, but I don't think he feels very confident right now. They've had so much trouble training against the Veno so far.
They've rotated their lanes once more. Miracle comes down to bottom lane. Mind Control is going to TP up to the top, so Pasha just cannot catch a break at all. And with Kuro on this top lane, Mind Control, Shadow Words, we are to easily sustain.
I mean, on VP's advantage, I think Solo had that great rotation mid gave him so much advantage, actually. He's 1-0-4, and he's level 4 at 6 minutes. That's a huge level advantage for the support that normally has to kind of struggle to get some levels. But on top of that, now he gets to start a pull. This is one of the best ways for supports to accelerate until fast level 6, and once he gets that, all these ganks are going to be a lot harder.
GH trying to play around with Roger. Or vice versa. GH is back under his shrine. Roger will only want to harass, that's all. GH actually TPing to the top lane. No stun.
That was really close, actually. Fraction more, you could have interrupted.
Dire don't have any aggressive vision. In fact, just one very defensive ward got planted down. I think they actually saw it too. Kuro has a sentry ward.
Good creep positioning here. On the VP side, they're looking to dive on Veno again. No boots for him, so if they do catch him, he could be out of trouble. Or in a lot of trouble, that is.
It's when Matumba's really wanting that level 6. Just having that 1 point up in Plague Ward. He doesn't need to have the Nova. It's not as required for him, but he's got GH to help him out. So gank all you want, Roger. During nighttime, he cannot see the ES sitting behind the tower.
He does grab the Nova. Just wants as much damage as he can get right now. That's a good way to do it. Trying to pressure the VP safe lane, though. Mind Control can kind of do whatever he wants with the backup power of Shadow Word, but Kuro himself takes the damage. He hurts a lot more. And Miracle kind of playing this ready-to-dive Huskar right now. He's got 4 points in Burning Spears. He's got Armlet ready as well. So if he can get on top of Pasha, it's a decent chance of getting the kill, but we'll just see a TP most likely.
I love the no boots.
Yeah.
Like I have life break to give distance, right?
That's true. mini Blink Dagger, right?
And there's still 3-4 movement speed versus the 295, and he may want it as he has to outrun Roger. TP support is coming in right now. It's Kuro. Miracle will need to put that Shadow Word on top of him, and the Fatal Bonds. Potential turn to fight. Huskar, oh, caught inside the pit. How much can you toggle? Not enough through this. Not when no one brings in such huge physical damage, but a Gale and Nova, VP, they get coated, but really, they're still surviving. The Fatal Bonds is making this very difficult to live. As all three of them, Pasha, Roger, and No One having their fates connected.
Oh,
It'll wear off now, so they're going to survive, but oh, if that Husker was a little bit stronger.
Man, Fatal Bonds and Veno, that's pretty terrifying in the mid-game. Kuro was holding his skill points, but that was the right time to pick that up. Doesn't get any kills, but it kind of just shows the story of what's to come in these next couple fights.
Yep.
If they land big Veno ultis, Gales, and right clicks, and they Fatal Bonds them all together, everyone's dying on VP's side. But Oracle can save one. Who will he choose?
More than likely Ramses, unless Ramses can save himself. But No One brings that huge physical damage, and this is when the Huskar pickup doesn't look as great. Laning phase, sure, but that physical DPS of VIRTUS.PRO is still very, very strong. Like, how much are you willing to sacrifice in order to get a great team fight off? Kuro needs his level 6 to get that to happen. You talked about Oracle being a full level now in front of him. The Warlock Rock and the Tidehunter Ravage is normally the biggest deterrent to stop VIRTUS.PRO from fighting.
I think it'll be okay even if Warlock is delayed on 6, but VP's rotations here are set up to beat Mind Control. They got to save the stun, though, or he can TP.
Is this the same thing again? Like Mind Control into the trees?
This one's going to be harder. If he can juke and TP.
Kraken Shell, sure. You just break free of everything you want to. There's so many heroes, like just 3 heroes chasing him into the tree lines. Roger does use the Burrow Strike, gets the kill.
Really wise play there. Perfect. They stun too early. He gets out. No way for them to stop him. I mean, that's their only stun. I think it's just Sand King. Except for the potential Yules. You know, no one dodges a Gale in the mid lane here. Making Matumba Man look stupid.
Miracle's forcing out the bottom tower. TP support's coming in the form of the Oracle. Shadow Word's on Miracle, so he's getting a little bit more life. The Firestorm actually burning a lot, even though he's only got 2 points up in the
Fortune's
Berserker's Blood.
Is actually huge this game. He just dispelled the Shadow Word from Warlock, and it's also going to work against the later Inner Vitality that Huskar is going to want to rely on. So could see some big impact from Warlock here.
GH, not only does he steal the Bounding Rune from Pasha, he steals the Arcane from No One. No One looking to do something about it, but GH once again TP's out and goes to the top lane.
He'll shine after Mind Control finishes his wave, and then everything's fine anyways.
Yeah. But his movement does get scouted out. So VIRTUS.PRO, they were deep water before on the top lane. Yeah, Solo. Well, he could actually heal himself up and survive. Miracle has to toggle from the tower.
Gonna be just fine with these 2 heals. But,
fine. Relax, everybody.
definitely hard to kill Oracle, but burning his ultimate at this stage is really beneficial. Not that VP necessarily has somebody they want to put it on. Obviously, it's wonderful with Death Prophet as a combo, but Miracle definitely wants to kill the tower, but not enough physical damage for now. It's a little hard for him to force these tower pushes, and as long as VP keeps defending them by killing the creep wave, then a delayed tower will be more time that Terrorblade can get online and finally become competitive with a Huskar.
Drums just arrived on Ramses. He'll need an extra helping hand if he wants to do something about mind control. Without Metamorphosis going into Anchor Smash, probably not the greatest thing either. Roger, don't get your courier killed. Actually took damage because the creeps were aggroed.
They were angry, but they didn't know what to attack because Roger was hiding. Scan goes down by the dire side. They're spotting Miracle trying to wrap around. That was kind of how VP lost a lot of tempo last game when Liquid ended up rotating and diving under the tier 1. So
yeah, what they don't know about it is GH, however. The Gale's going to connect. No one wants to try and fight this one with the Spirit Cypher. He's got a lot of sustain. GH has to rolling boulder away. Exorcism burned by no one.
Oh, sick.
And they will not be able to force down the tower at all.
It looked like a potential kill, but as soon as he pops ulti, Liquid knows to escape. They didn't overburn anything skill-wise, and they get a big advantage from this. That was huge plays, actually, from Liquid to disengage there. Wonder how much they make these plays off of previous game performances.
Mind Control's in trouble. He doesn't have a lot of mana to work with. 11-1 charges can give him some life in that mana, but he'll need more support. Kuro is here. There goes your Ravage, rolling ball. The Fatal Bonds together with the Rock. The damage is going to be huge. Ramses switches a lot of it out as he sunders GH, allowing him to have enough damage to kill off Mind Control. They're still connected, remember, into the trees. Roger, Invis, and actually with the Sandstorm, they already found the kill over on GH. Roger will burn. Solo's not in a healthy position either. That Golem moving underneath the tower allows him to continue to fight. Ramses knows he has to keep retreating.
Miracle wants to keep fighting, but they'll hit the tower at least. I mean, Golem gives them a little bit of overwhelm power here.
Is he going to life break Ramses? He's got the jump. He knows Ramses no longer has Sunder, so you already start to stack up the Burning Spears. Jumping in further forward. Miracle. Well, there's your reflection. There's a little bit of extra help. Miracle can toggle as well as have the one charges. Turns over with Solar. Curry's in the neighborhood as well, but it will back off, realizing that they're all dead on top lane.
He played that so well. Getting a bunch of attacks in a last moment, drops the life break to close the gap distance here. But Roger will be able to do the old Sandstorm and stand, but the tower's dying pretty fast.
Yep, nowhere to really stop it. Miracle could just tank through it all, and Roger's 1K strat won't work. Miracle's getting a lot stronger, moving into a Heaven's Halberd. You want to talk about a way to stop that physical damage to the Terrorblade, find the real one and disarm.
He's going a slightly different Huskar build. Buying treads first is kind of interesting, but overall attack speed and meaning more spears against your opponent is really what the goal is here. Because the more spears he drops on the Terrorblade, the better chance he can actually kill him in these clutch fights.
Well, someone's got to bring some dust into this fight.
He's going to steal all of his last hits and now walk away. Kind of an interesting game.
The Dobermans kept the pressure up on mid lane while all this has been going on. Really just focusing on finishing up that Veil of Discord, amplifying all this damage, which they want to start stacking up. Stack this up once you have Rock down, once you have Fatal Bonds available, Rolling Boulder, GH. Oh, he'll complete the TP. Then you can turn your attention towards middle lane. Miracle is ready to come from behind.
Not really the hero they wanted to kill, so they don't commit anything to it just yet. And the creep wave is killed, though. So now it's going to be up to VP to try to slow down the push.
They had no Ravage, but they saw Pasha. That Plague Ward just able to connect onto him, and Pasha. It was about to put the pit down, but
doesn't matter.
Yep.
It's just so much damage right here. This is Huskar's prime territory. As long as he's backed up by his allies, as long as he doesn't get killed solo, Miracle's going to snowball this into a huge advantage.
With Armlet on, he has 2.2k. Like
pretty good.
That's so much to get through.
He hits really hard, attacks fast. Evasion's coming up, and one last hit, and there he's got it.
And they're moving into Roshan. This is something which Team Liquid must have. This is the enabler for the Huskar.
Another thing that's very simple for him to kill, Medallion as well, and that's going to be a pretty quick dead Roche. And with the Halberd finished, another solution against Terrorblade. It's going to be a long time till he gets magic immunity.
Yep. VIRTUS.PRO smoked up. They won't be able to do anything really about this. They are way too late to join the fight. So Huskar just TPs down a bottom lane. No one reveals himself for a moment. Huskar actually moving up inside the fog of war. No one is not aware that Miracle is there, but has the movement speed with phase boots, can easily outrun that Huskar.
There's no threat either way. Even if he gets the life break off, Yule's the Huskar, start a TP, and you get out.
Yep. Would have required Kuro to drop the ultimate to stop him. But he was taking time to get there too.
He might be able to even Yule's before he connects with the life break and then get out of there. But GH is constantly going to the off lanes, trying to slow down these pushes. It's definitely safer for him than any of their cores. Less value lost if he dies, so they're going to glyph, slow this down a little bit. Does get caught, though.
Roger finding that perfect time to reveal it. The kick is good from GH. No! Rolling Boulder, TP out the star. The damage. Purifying Flames from Solar. Stops a beautiful play, but still it's VIRTUS.PRO. A tier 1 for tier 1 tower trade-off will now happen.
And he's already alive again. Doesn't have a TP though, but Liquid does get the tier 1, now pressuring tier 2. And this is very reminiscent of the previous game. Can VP catch up? Or Terrorblade's got a great KDA, 3-1 and 12. His net worth is solid, but it's not over here the Huskar solid.
Do they just go up? Like you're 16 minutes in, you have Ravage, you have Rock, you have Nova, you have kind of everything you want, even a double damage on Matumba. Yeah, they're going in. Look at Miracle. He wants a kill. This. He walks past the tower, body blocking out VIRTUS.PRO.
He doesn't even want them close to him.
No.
The fast Solar Crest on Tidehunter as well, making it so hard to kill Miracle.
They're going to pit him up. Have they got the extra help? Roger, Burrow strikes forward. The stun won't connect. The Rock as well as Fatal Bonds. VP, they're connected once more. The Aegis Immortal has done its work. Miracle back to the Lord of the Living, looking for a good target, but they don't really have one. They want more distance. Miracle rooted up, forced in. He goes after Ramsey, dropping him down low. The Ravage, finally from Mind Control comes out. Same with the Nova. All of VP are coated up, but no one from Liquid is really left alive to do anything about it. No one will will have a double kill. Matumba, he just needs to get out of this one. Roger's so low, he should actually die. No, he won't. It's Poison Over and Poison Sting.
He could die.
He's going to tick right now, 7 HP, and he survives through it. VIRTUS.PRO lose nobody.
Amazing defense from them. I mean, it looked so good for Liquid going high ground there with the evasion, but they lowered Miracle's HP. He was maybe a bit too deep with his diving. And I think the crucial play was the silence from no one to delay the Ravage. Ravage felt late, and it was, but it was all about delaying Mind Control's ability to save the Huskar. And by delaying that, it allowed them to win the fight.
Yeah, they really needed that sooner. Needed that Blink Dagger to really be on the Tidehunter. He went for a full Solar Crest before getting the Blink.
And it's a cool, really cool build if that push works out. And it was very close to working out. Once that tower falls, maybe they can get a solo kill somewhere. They knew Exorcism was on cooldown for a bit because previously no one had used it on the bot lane. So that was a great timing for Liquid to try to hit. But now they're going to have to pay the sins of buying these early pushing items with the Solar Crest on Tide.
No one sitting here in the mid lane. GH has an Invis rune. They should know that no one is basically by himself until he walks underneath the one sentry ward that just timed out. And it had only 2 seconds left on it, and GH walked over the top of it in the last 2 seconds. But they're coming again. That bottom tier 3 tower is so low. You don't have the Aegis Immortal this time around.
And very wisely, Roger again setting himself into position to cut the creep wave. They just want to delay this as long as possible, or at the least, if it goes slow, it's going to allow VP the ability to take the enemy tier 1 if this gets delayed. And right now, there's only 4 heroes. Veno wants to shift over. He drops some wards. They're level 3, so they should be able to deal with some of the creep wave. And they're going for the high ground again.
Yeah, they're doing this jump. No Ravage available. The root is on the Huskar, trying to break him free. Again, this Fortune's End.
It's so good, this game.
It keeps turning off the Shadow Word. It keeps turning off even like that's why they're not trying to stack it anymore on Miracle with the Inner Vitality and Shadow Word.
And the Solar Crest. The Solar Crest active, all of these little buffs that are going on in Huskar, it's actually making his life really hard. I'm sure that's one of the reasons he's died so fast in the last couple engagements. If you remove that heal, he's just a hero with an armlet, and that's a regular hero. He doesn't have lifesteal, so he's kind of all in on those regen things, and Liquid's going to be forced to play a slower game as a result of solo playing like this.
VP just came out to D-Ward. But Liquid know where the vision advantage is. Hence, rotate to mid. Take out the tier 2 towers. That's what you normally do with the first Aegis of the Immortal, even though it is gone. But restricting VP into their base. That's all they can do for now. Ramses continues to get big as well. Looking to get into the BKB, so he's ready to fight. In fact, now he has that exactly. And Huskar's a little bit off his. He'll get the farm off the top lane. So BKB for Miracle next engagement. #1 net worth are on the field. Still got a great combination out from Liquid, but that high ground defense from VP looks so stable. Now their core can stand under the cover of a Magic Immune.
Yeah, and once both of them are at that position, Death Prophet now turns from somebody that's a vulnerability to somebody that can be absolutely a big damage dealer. She goes for Max Health Spirit Siphon, very good against Huskar, very good against Tidehunter, until it gets dispelled at least, and she can just pop BKB and run in there and deal damage. There is still a decent amount of physical damage coming out of Liquid, especially from the Huskar, and once he finishes AC, it's even more so, but I think he'll be able to jump into this team fight and get a lot more done. I mean, maybe another big worry is still going to be Fatal Bonds, but BKBs are going to stop the magic damage dealt to at least 2 of their cores, which means that once it actually trickles over, it won't spread quite as heavily.
Yep.
So this is a good place for VP to be. They've got a gold advantage.
Oh, there's your root already on the Miracle. Burrow Strike as well. He can't actually toggle out of this. GH has a rolling boulder himself away. Fortune's End will connect. But the rest of Liquid won out. Warlock won't be so lucky. The TP cancelled on Kuro. Accepts his fate, and 2 heroes from Liquid without buyback. All they try to do is take that tier 2 tower on top. And again, they end up losing.
Just a little overconfidence from Liquid, feeling like they're riding the Huskar train, and they are, but this is like a typical KDA for a Huskar that's on the way to losing. 4-3-0. He's gotten some kills, but in these crucial moments where the team needs to group around him and do these pushes, they were a little outmaneuvered, and they didn't expect anticipate him dying so fast.
Just that vision advantage seems to be taken away from Liquid every time too. Like the 2 Observer Walls they planted on bottom, they got taken out by VIRTUS.PRO in the same position as well. So how does Liquid continue to set up for these fights? You push the tier 2 tower, but the aggressive warding you never got down. That's what's on Kuro. He's got 2 obs and 2 sentries currently in the inventory, but he has nowhere to plant it.
That's part of the hard part, is that he has to sit behind Huskar to help make sure that he doesn't go down, but they can't necessarily just be confident around like the heals and the inner vitality. Like, all it took was one stun there. Miracle's HP was very low, so maybe stay above 40% HP or whatever it was, but it's a tough position to be in. And to try to prevent VP from being able to walk around and D-ward and gank all they want, it would require Liquid on the other side of the map to actually make those kills themselves. But they don't really have the best heroes for it. It's basically Earth Spirit, or they'd have to commit Tidehunter to a Ravage, or Venomancer would have to Chain Burst, and that's not really how their team fights together. That's not really how their lineup works. So it's kind of a bit of a back foot position here because Liquid did lose that high ground push.
Yep. We'll have to find a way around it. This will probably be a pretty damn good way. They got a Blink Dagger on GH, a Blink Dagger on Mind Control, and Kuro currently holding the smoke ready for a fight, but they don't want to have a big one just yet. Roshan may respawn in 1 second time, so we'll see just how quick it is. The Plague Ward will be in there for another 30 seconds, and Roshan will respawn in 2 minutes. So Liquid will have to wait to get the big man to have that Aegis and Cheese available for the next fights. But that's because if they can take it, VP are most definitely a formidable force, and they can contest it quite strongly.
So they're finally grouping up themselves. Creep waves are in perfect positions. They've been pushing out bot lane with Terror Blade Illusions, and it's finally their turn, other than the whole defending and taking the tier 2 top, to finally push and take a 5v5 against Liquid. And this is maybe another place where they could have a lot of benefit. If Miracle shows up when this fight's about to start, has a good initiation, this could be decent for Liquid since they want a 5v5 as well. But I think VP's confident with these BKBs. They've got a Halberd on Underlord as well.
And they got the Blink Burrow Strike initiation out. It went on the Venomancer, silenced up pretty quickly. But then again, that Tide Ravage, 3 heroes caught. They're going on to no one. His BKB, you also have to protect him for the moment. Nova comes out, but so does the Rock. Space is created as Liquid fight underneath their own tower. And VIRTUS.PRO Ramsey just man-modes it up. Miracle is surviving through all of this. Where is the damage? Miracle, he takes one. He's going after Pasha. He's looking for a third. No one's the big one. GH holding him in position with the rock kick as the toggle begins for Miracle. Even a double damage rune spawning in the top river. VP make a right choice to get the hell out of there. However, Roger left behind as a rolling boulder. Okay, they won't even reach him to connect. The Urn Charge is taking him down. Roger starts the TP. Base damage. It's there from the Golem. Kuro will find the kill. Venomancer was the sacrifice. And Team Liquid, Roshan is up in 27 seconds, but they're going down mid. No Exorcism will be available for no one.
It was such a good initiation by VP, and they got the Veno kill, but the follow-up was that the BKBs were used, and they got Miracle kind of low. Oh, not good for
Solo. Out too far. The kick will connect. He needs a little bit more regeneration. The silence is there. Rolling boulder forward. GH pulling himself back. As Miracle, not really that low on life right now. He needs to drop a little bit lower so he can attack faster. That bottom tier 3 tower is still licking its wounds, but they're sticking with the creep wave in mid. They don't want to bounce out. Ramses looks for the fight. Already turns on the reflection. Miracle hitting himself pretty hard. Has the BKB available. Pushed away. GH trying to help him out with that kick. Miracle now BKB turns around. Goes after Solo. He will stand his ground with the damage into Ramses. Ramses. Miracle! He thunders over on Mind Control. Gives him back the life. Pasha wants to end this, and he'll do so. Everybody home. They got the kill they want. They ended Miracle. That's Sunder onto Mind Control. He offered himself to keep Ramses in the fight.
Man, it is so fun to watch two heroes like Terrorblade essentially fight each other to the death. So tense. They both practically have I can't die abilities, and ultimately they finally kill the Huskar. It took a lot of right clicks, and the big problem for Ramses right now is he's just missing all the time. He does not have MKB. He cannot buy MKB right now. He's got Manta finally, so he can remove things like some of the mischance or disables or slows, but he just can't hit the Huskar right now, especially when BKB's used.
Roshan is alive. This will be our pivot point for the map for a while, as there's no way VIRTUS.PRO want to give a second life to that Huskar, considering how many issues they're having to just bring him down at the moment. Small advantages, the BKB charges are wearing out quickly.
No kidding. It's going to be a little harder for Huskar as the game goes on, but he's picked up his Hyperstone now. The lifesteal perk at 15 doing a lot of work for him.
The Observe War from VP watches this happen very, very openly. Kuro has Rock coming back off cooldown as Roger, Epicenter, His timing couldn't be better right now. Epicenter looking to jump in. The Burrow Strike. No, he didn't get inside the pin. He was on the edge of the wall. No one will enter in. Miracle has the Aegis Immortal. The Rocket's huge. The Ravage is better. But the BKBs protect VIRTUS.PRO. They stand their ground and fight. Pasha, he'll give his life to this one, but Rams to no one. They are just way too big. The Viper coming in from GH. Kuro is on the run. Where is your big man? Husker back to the world of the living. Now the Aegis Immortal has popped. But how much fire's he got left in him? Solo protecting himself. He can't find the damage until Miracle jumps over. They almost kill off Ramses. They do kill off Ramses. The Burning Spears do the work, but no one. He stands through the entire thing. The immortal hero for VIRTUS.PRO. Thanks to the help of the Oracle, Team Liquid are wiped.
Not a good position for Liquid considering how close that fight was. They burned Aegis. I believe they burned Cheese as well, and they still couldn't outfight VP. Here's the replay.
So Roger, with this Burrow Strike, he just comes up a little bit short, but the pit.
A little bit of a misclick. He tried to get inside, but didn't click far enough. And then VP pops BKBs. They use the Metamorphosis. They use Exorcism. And they drop the Fatal Bonds and stuff, but VP just can't be affected by these disables on Liquid's side until those BKBs end.
Yep. It's just this. That was the ineffective Ravage from Mind Control. And you can't blame him for it. You knew what's going to happen once we saw these BKBs arrive. So VIRTUS.PRO at the end of that fight, they've still been holding the advantage as far as gold and experience goes. Gold's bounced up a little bit, but the experience tells the story of the momentum of this game, moving the way of VIRTUS.PRO.
Yeah, it's been just such a hard-hitting game, though. Everyone jumps in, they brawl to the death, and it lasts like 20 seconds of heroes fighting other heroes with lifesteal. Definitely a lot more interesting than Pix and Rax's.
I'm wondering if this is going to be one of these games where Matubberman changes up his build. Normally he's gone for the 2 Plague Wards on Gale, but having the +7 seconds for Poison Nova and the 800 AoE building into Aghanim Scepter, this could coat and hurt.
I actually really agree with you here, because 7 more seconds means 7 more seconds that they have to last past BKB is used. So if he does go Ags and he's got it queued up, this thing's going to last for 23 whole seconds in a team fight. Maybe more with Ags. I think it goes, no, it doesn't go up duration anymore. Tons of damage, and then if he just drops that on all of the enemy heroes, eventually they're going to have to deal with that damage output. Because right now he's not having a good game, and they bought BKB so fast, and they lost that top push. He lost all the gold advantage from his early game, so that's what he's going to need to get back in the game.
Roger's preparing to fight up on top, while on bottom lane, Dire is scanning in the trees, expecting some level of defense to be mounted. But as the scan comes up with nothing and Pasha takes the tower, VP should be aware that things are brewing. The ultimate's not fully up. Rock is still on cooldown for 10 more seconds, as this time Liquid are getting into a position to have that aggressive ward. So they see no one. Pasha and Ramses all running in. Mind Control, this is his moment to get that Ravage up for the BKBs. No one got his off in time. And the Rock with the Fatal Bond. Ramses low, but he's done his GH. It's all the life back once more with the Exorcism damage. Liquid cannot withstand this much power. They're on the run back out again. But this is 3 heroes from Liquid gone. They had the vision. They knew what they were getting into, but VIRTUS.PRO come out victorious.
It's just way too hard for Huskar to fight through all these enemy heroes. I mean, they always get the initiation as well. It's always Huskar starts the team fight stunned. Ramsey's able to get close, pop Metamorphosis, Manta, Conjure Image. They've got to deal with those. And then they also have to deal with the BKB Death Prophet, who's popping Exorcism, who can use Spirit Siphon shortly after the BKB ends.
Yep.
It's like impossible to armlet toggle. And to make things worse there, they just dropped the Oracle ulti on Terrorblade, the first person that Miracle tried to pick off.
Yep. Oracle's life is actually so easy for that now. Like, he's always going to protect the Terrorblade because the Aeon Disc on no one means that he's always going to be safe too.
And he just sits way far back. The first thing Solo buys, Blink Dagger. Look at his safety here. And he got a cast range perk at 15. He can stand so far away from his allies. As long as he doesn't get spotted and initiated on, he's going to be able to save at least one person. And Huskar's just falling off the hill right now.
VIRTUS.PRO are just pushing all the lanes in too. So Team Liquid, I was wondering if VP would try and force the issue up to high ground. They don't have Metamorphosis, they don't have Exorcism, but Liquid also have none of their critical abilities. But they back up instead. Keep the farm going, increase the advantage.
It's hard now though. Like, farm is a much more difficult thing for them to attain. They just can't solo gank, they can't create pressure unless they commit a lot of big ultimates. And if you're in that kind of a situation, how are you supposed to create space for your team to feel like you don't have to sit as 5 heroes to farm? Because VP has that big advantage right now. It's like the Sand King advantage, essentially.
Yep. I really don't know what the answer is for Team Liquid. VIRTUS.PRO, however, they know what they have to do. Lane pressure, keep it up, And do not lose any of their big heroes who have been getting more and more combinations. Interesting save mechanism now for Kuro. He's managed to pick up that Lotus Orb. Makes it a lot more difficult for Terrorblade to just sunder any target he wants to. So I'm interested to see what Liquid actually give him as options. Like, well, you can potentially sunder Mind Control when he jumps in, or breaks free of the silence. Is that what you're thinking?
It's really good against Sunder, but I think he's probably buying this because of the silence from Death Prophet. Because as these fights start on VP's terms, no one gets to approach, pops BKB, he drops a silence on a couple big heroes. And again, all the Warlock and the Earth Spirit and the Veno, they need to stand pretty close to the Huskar. And if you catch 2 or 3 heroes with a silence and it delays their reaction by 6 seconds, fight's over instantly. So between Lotus Orb and the potential Greaves on Tide that are coming up in a second, it's going to allow Liquid to much better time their team fight starts. But it's so hard as well because you want Huskar to be the one hitting buildings. Liquid wants to set a tempo by pushing with 5 while they hit towers. That's always going to give the initiation advantage on the defender, which is pretty much always going to be VP here.
Here comes VIRTUS.PRO, the aggressor towards the Tier 3 tower. The Assault Cuirass was just finished over on Miracle, so he'll have a little bit more survivability for all of his team under that heavy physical DPS of no one's Exorcism. But VP, they just bounce around the different lanes. No one. Okay, Exorcism burned. He gets silenced up. The Tubman just trying to cause some problems. The kick flies forward. Ramsey's also burning Metamorphosis. They want to have this fight. The 2 BKB heroes at the front lines. The saving graces at the back. Solo and Roger. There's no way Liquid can really close the distance in on them. The kick flies through to connect on Solo. But it would cause too much trouble for Liquid to continue out that far. And the illusions of Terrorblade in the meantime are chipping away at the top tower, keeping them at bay. Miracle looks for a target. They're chasing out. The vision is there with the Observer and Sentry up on the hill, but the 3-man silence, they have to break free. The BKB is there. Ravage and Rock are pretty good, but not good enough. Mind Control just gets evaporated out. Roger's on the run. At least Miracle was able to stand thanks to Lotus. Pushed around. The buyback comes in from the Titan, but there won't be one from the Huskar. The kick is awesome from GH, but VIRTUS.PRO, so strong, so powerful. Moving forward once more, they get free of the upheaval thanks to the Yule Scepter on the Kuro. So VP with their movement speed back, make their way towards the Tier 3 tower on bottom. The pit controls up Mataman, nothing more to give. No way to really continue this fight. He has a buyback available. The VIRTUS.PRO continue their push through. Ramsey's a little bit greedy, takes the life from Pasha with the Sunder.
Trading so much with Fatal Bonds as well as he takes damage, but they should be able to go high ground here. They've got no Exorcism, but they got 40 seconds until the big damage dealer Huskar comes back.
They force the buyback on Venomancer. Mind Control wants to look for a little bit more here. The Fatal Bonds is still over on VIRTUS.PRO. That's a fresh one, but then they stand, they turn, they get the silence over, and the double burrow strike from Roger. He is a beast on this hero. Gets the perfect hit on the Venomancer. That's a dieback from him. Mind Control isolated. At least got Anchor Smash to reduce some of the damage, but when Ram's in the back line, killing up the rest of Liquid, this may be it. They've lost too many. They've lost everybody. Team Liquid pushing up the daisies as VIRTUS.PRO plant their flag inside the Liquid base. This place belongs to them.
And Liquid feels like they can hold on here. I thought maybe they'd call a good game, but they popped the glyph. Buyback from GH, and now Huskar's alive, but the last couple engagements, he's going straight in. Is this
straight to the front lines? He's after Ramsey. GH has to help out. The piss down once more. They're fighting. Miracle is so low. He doesn't have enough knife. Not when Roger gets it done. That's it. That's GG. VIRTUS.PRO advance to the grand final of the Bucharest Major. Team Liquid once again forced into that small area of a major, 3rd position, tied.
They're going to be disappointed for sure, but man, did VP play amazing here. The early laning stage was definitely Liquid's show. The last pick, Huskar, gave them the huge lane win that they wanted, but their ability to defend against that high ground push and not make a mistake and lose the game right there is so impressive. And once they had done that, they clawed back straightforward. It wasn't easy, but every fight afterwards was completely in control of VP. Absolutely deserve this win.
Yep. And the way they're standing on the stage, it looks like they're almost ready to pick up that trophy, but they're here to shake the hands of Team Liquid. Still a fantastic performance from them throughout the tournament. They really are champions, but once again, they find themselves not reaching that grand final. It'll be VIRTUS.PRO instead. This just appears to be regions. This is like VP's region. They were there at Hamburg. They were there in Katowice. Now they're going to be there at Bucharest.
Yeah, I mean, if they can win back-to-back majors here, that would be really incredible for them.
It'll be the dream for VIRTUS.PRO. It'll be almost the qualification for TI as well. I think if they had that many points.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's secured because nothing is ever safe, but In this case, VIRTUS.PRO, they look insanely strong.
Yeah, maybe they just take 5 months off after they win this one. I don't know. We'll see.
Let's not do that. I want to see more games from VIRTUS.PRO. We'll see it tomorrow. But for now, we throw it over to Red Eye. What'd you think of the game? What'd you think of the series?
Thanks very much, Toby and Perch, for the final commentary. Yeah, great series, great game. Another fantastic performance from VIRTUS.PRO. And I can tell you as well, some things are certain in life, Toby. And one thing is certain, VIRTUS.PRO are definitely going to be at the International 8, that's for sure. They've got enough points right now, regardless of what happens in the grand final, to qualify for TI. And they've done it with 10 events remaining. That's absolutely extraordinary as they reach yet another grand final at the major. They've got a shot at making it 3 out of the last 4 tomorrow as they take on Vici J Thunder. Let's get the final thoughts of our two men that predicted the correct outcome of the third and final game. It is,
Vindication!
Suns fan and Catalyst. Well done, gents.
I have one thing to say.
Yes.
Yes.
You guys can agree or disagree all you want. Huskar is god-awful.
No argument from over here. No argument from over here.
That hero just feels like... I mean, we've seen it in the past. The reason I don't like this hero in general is just because it's very situational, right? It's not always a good... It's never really... At least in the, historically speaking for Dota, it's never like, yeah, this is a good hero to pick, generally. It has to be with like an Oracle or a Dazzle or something. I mean, they had the Veno and the Fatal Bonds combo, which is storied and delicious and disgusting all at the same time, but Huskar just felt, yeah, great in the laning stage, and then you just suck 10 minutes.
So situational code word for bad is what you're saying?
I'd say situational with, as long as there's 2 heroes on your team. One of those 2, Oracle, Dazzle. Otherwise, no, I don't think it's good at all.
I think VIRTUS.PRO's lineup, it actually was a lineup that was going to make the Huskar, well, questionable hero, yes, no, but I think their lineup was actually going to naturally make the Huskar look a little bit worse. They have these really good physical damage dealers in both the Terrorblade as well as the Death Prophet, who can really lay into it. They've got a lot of survivability. One has Sunder. They've got an Oracle behind that as well, so you can't really focus down these heroes very easily. And then on top of all of that, they're going to get their BKBs eventually. And at that point in time, you're not actually doing any magic damage from the Burning Spears, and your physical damage is then even more limited by the fact you've got an Abyssal Underlord that you're going into as well. So I think Liquid, in that pick, I can kind of see some of the reasoning behind it, though. It was the fact that they felt like it matched the timing that they needed to be able to have, because VIRTUS.PRO's like setup there and the way they had their first 4 picks and being able to have an Oracle behind both the Terrorblade and the Death Prophet. When you already have Venomancer on the field, I don't think you're going to be able to beat that late. They had to be able to win laning phase hard. They had to be able to take that advantage and be able to push for high ground.
I have a solution, though. Ice Frog, I know you're watching, my friend. We talk all the time. Not always.
Hey, Frog.
Anywho, imagine a world where Huskar gets an Aghanim Scepter, right? Or it could even just be put into Talons. But his Burning Spears and ult work through BKB. What do you think?
Whoa. That sounds disgusting.
Potentially viable in more than situational cases, correct?
I'm not sure Mr. Frog is going to agree with you.
If that happens,
we'll
should
give you credit. Yeah, and
he
then
should put that in the notes.
And then when it's banned first in every game, we'll also give you credit as well. Let's take a look back at the very big highlights as far as VIRTUS.PRO are concerned. Liquid, they've fallen short again. They've got 5 more chances to win a major this season, which is still plenty of opportunities for them.
Yeah, certainly, and I think they are very determined to kind of stay near the top of their game and remain one of those TI champions who doesn't fall off. And hey, losing here to VIRTUS.PRO, absolutely no shame to that whatsoever. These two teams have gone back and forth, and again, I want to reiterate, I feel like these two teams, when matched up against each other, they elevate each other's play, and I think we did see a bit of that here in game number 3. Honestly, Liquid played, I think, as well as they possibly can be asked against this sort of lineup. I think that what happened is that VIRTUS.PRO baited out the Venomancer, and I think they had a very good response to it in the Death Prophet. The moment I saw it, I was like, Death Prophet is a great answer, because you've got this damage over time that is not a threat to Death Prophet. She's got the Spirit Siphon, she's got her Exorcism out, she wants to be able to have, once any sort of slow damage, she's happy with, because that just means she's surviving longer for her Exorcism to be able to do its work. And Liquid did have to go for some of these high ground pushes, and it did look a little bit dicey there for VIRTUS.PRO, but that's essentially because the lineup is going to fall off on the side of Liquid. They had to go high ground. They had to try and force these things and hope they could win an engagement against a team that's defending tier 3s, and that's always going to be hard, especially against the kind of high ground defense that VP have.
Was there ever a danger that VIRTUS.PRO wouldn't win this game?
With a Huskar? No, absolutely not. But that's just my very biased opinion on the hero. I do think, and this is something that, as far as the mental state, players probably will not think about, but we see it year after year, teams peaking at the wrong time.
Yep.
And we saw Secret a couple years, that's probably the most evident one, where they peaked